Oh my God. I do remember after we did that like reunion Entertainment Weekly cover of Dawson's Creek or whatever, I was on a red carpet like not long after that. And some entertainment reporter was like, now Busy, Katie Holmes was telling us that there's a group thread now that's really lively since the photo shoot. What are some of the things that you guys text back and forth? And I literally was like, Michelle and I were not included on that. I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
No. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Well, the bad news is that my new recorder has never showed up.
Oh, no.
But the good news is I have batteries.
Oh, great. See? Silver linings.
Look for them where you can. Look for the rainbows and the silver. Look for the helpers.
Did you ever find your mic stand? You're holding your mic, so I'm guessing no.
I did. It's in pieces, and I can't figure it out.
Got it.
So for the time being, we're just going to do this thing like this.
All
a
right.
manual.
All right.
A manual handheld pod thing. Sorry, I'm, of course, doing something.
I don't think it's bad as long as we don't, I don't know what we do. Tap our nails on it or drop it. I don't know.
Do what?
I think the reason we have a mic stand is so it doesn't like pick up your hand noise from the mic. That's what I'm gathering from other podcasts that I've sometimes been a guest on. They're very strict about having a microphone stand. Also strict about
Don't ask.
playing noise.
Just please don't ask. Please don't ask.
That happens to me.
Please don't ask.
But we don't get in trouble for handling our mics a lot on this podcast. So we
get in trouble for so many other things.
Oh my gosh. What just happened with your phone is literally what happens to me anytime I happen to be unmuted for 1 second on like a Zoom meeting. I will literally always accidentally tap my phone and it will start to play a symphony. And I'm like, oh, that's me.
Just am like, I'm just trying to repost this thing for human rights campaign.
I got it. I gotcha.
Count me in the moms fighting for rights of transgender kids and people in the country.
Yeah.
It's getting dark out there. It's getting dark.
I mean,
It's been dark.
It's been dark. It's been, now this goofy goober judge, this unqualified child judge struck down the mask mandate for mass transportation. I feel so badly for people. They announced it like it was a triumph in the middle of flights, which I just saw all these tweets from people that were like, I was on a flight with 2 babies. And they were like, we have good news, everyone. You can take off your masks. The best news And I was just like, airlines, can you give the illusion that you care about all of your customers? Can you
keep it together?
Keep it together. Yeah, it's so weird. And then I was like, maybe that's individual pilots, but then it seems like a lot of the airlines are putting statements on their websites. One, I believe Delta said that COVID is now just a seasonal virus.
Well, Delta, so glad that I've hired you as my doctor. I'm so grateful that you are my medical professional service.
Dr. Delta. Well, I'll tell you something.
Well, they did not like the naming of that Delta variant, boy.
No, they sure didn't.
And so they're trying to course correct.
They're steamed as heck.
They are. They're mad. They're mad about it. So they're just like, well, fuck it. It's not real.
Someone in my family caught that seasonal virus and it's a whole other season and they still can't fucking breathe. Can't walk around or do their job or breathe or any of that stuff that we need to do in all seasons. So, whatever, Delta. Delta was one of my preferred airlines too. That's a bummer. But I feel like all the airlines are like, yay, whoopee. Somebody said it was like a graduation ceremony. Everyone on their flight threw their masks up in the air.
That
bummed me
totally bizarre. But also, like, what is wrong with everyone? Again, let's circle back.
Yeah.
No, everyone has lost the thread. No one knows how to be a human. No one knows what's acceptable. No one knows how to behave.
No.
I am including myself. However,
people don't know how to behave more than us, though. That's what I'm going to say. In the hierarchy of who knows how to behave, I feel like we might not be at the top, but we're not at the bottom. Did you see the video that was going around of the people that stood up to perform a jaunty Christian religious song on the airplane? And everyone was like, what the actual fuck? Like, you just can't do that for a million reasons. And, so many Muslim people were like, oh, what if I got up to sing a Muslim song on my flight? How do you think that would go? But my favorite is just this man's face in the video who's like, he just has this like beleaguered 1,000-yard stare. Like, I can't believe I'm stuck here.
I didn't see it. I saw someone posted it and I was like, well, just because you had to sit through that shit doesn't mean I have to.
I am not currently trapped in the air. It's just weird. It's just a weird...
bizarre.
It is bizarre. It's such a weird... It's a weird thing. It's unique, right? It's unique to... People, I guess, are sometimes so taken with their own religion that they assume that they're spreading joy and that no one could have any other feeling about it besides like just delight that they're being sung on to. And that it happens everywhere. It happens on your streets, your street corners in New York City, happens in the subways. Certainly we've seen it,
What, just like people proselytizing or like...
Yeah, busting out a guitar, spreading the good word. But on an airplane, it seems particularly...
I don't like any kind of group activity on an airplane.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
going to say it. It's not the time nor the place, y'all.
Like,
sit the fuck down.
If Gloria Estefan was on my flight and she wanted to like take the speaker and sing like the conga song, I would probably be a little into it. But...
That is such a fucking wild and random...
Because like everyone would join in and like I think that would be okay.
Come on, shake your body, baby. Do that conga.
Yeah, like that'd be okay. That doesn't exclude anyone.
I mean, it excludes people who don't know how to shake their bodies and do the conga.
It's true. But I mean,
Listen, we're not breaking new ground here.
Yeah, we're not going to solve it here.
I just I'm at a loss again at a loss. Continually. Should we change this podcast's name to Busy Phillips is at a loss?
No. Every few weeks, Busy wants to change the podcast. And
Busy Phillips
to what
is trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Busy Phillips is a little hungry, but not so hungry that she needs to eat a full sandwich.
I didn't make it to my workout today.
Oh no.
And by two, I mean clicking play on that television behind me. Just I had like a bunch of shit happening, and we're trying to do, guys, for you listening at home, we're trying to get our pod. It is Tuesday, but we're trying to get it done on the earlier side because I need to pick up Miss Cricket from school today.
Yeah.
And then it was just it was like a comedy of, it wasn't a comedy at all. It was just like a bunch of weird, small, annoying things that added up to like me not, like, it was like one of those things where at a certain point, I was like, well, I could start it now.
Right.
Or honestly, after I get Cricket, I can probably work out while she's zoning out on her.
Yeah, she does
iPad.
all kinds of. She's like coding. She's doing.
Holy
things.
shit, though. No, for real.
Yeah, I know.
I was watching her last night before bed, illustrating on one of her things. So, like, Cricket's 8 guys at home and a second child, which means that she's had an iPad in her little hands since birth. And she's talented.
Yeah.
She has a talent. The child has a talent at editing and also at like illustrating on like iPads using the pencil thing.
Yeah. Yeah. She was showing me like a little music thing that she made. It was very cool.
She's like editing videos together for friends now.
Yeah.
Like, it's so adorable. I mean, should I hire her to just run my social media?
Yeah, that would be
Probably.
Probably. That would probably actually be super entertaining. I wasn't even joking. I can't say what it's for on the podcast but I was going to ask if Cricket would help me with a project, a non-video project. But
She probably will.
if she's avail. I know she has school.
Listen, she does have school, but tech avail, you know.
Well, I'll see. I'll talk to her.
Oh, look, I just got an email for don't miss Nick Kroll. We're all doing our best at Largo. Okay, Nick Kroll. I won't miss it. Or excuse me while I miss it. I don't know.
This whole podcast has always just been a promotion for Nick Kroll's We're All Doing Our Best. Even before it existed, we had a feeling he was going to do it. And so that's what the podcast was. That's why we can never change it.
That's right.
We love Nick. I just saw him in something. Oh, that anthology series Roar, the feminist anthology series Roar, that is on one of the streamings, I believe Apple Plus.
Liz Flayhive's
Yes,
series.
yes. It's like,
I've known Liz since I was 17 years old.
I know you've known her for a long
17,
time.
yeah.
I recognized her name. I don't think I've ever met her, but yeah, it's interesting. It's like a Black Mirror for feminism.
Oh, that's a cool idea. I like that.
Yeah.
It's with her.
There was one that was wild.
I'm only slightly upset that I wasn't asked to participate in any way, but that's okay.
Well, maybe they figured you were busy with Girls 5 Eva. There was one that was wild.
Anyone who checks in on my Instagram knows that I'm tech avail. Anyone who does a little, you don't even have to do a deep dive. You can just do a tiny little dig. It's not even a big dig. It's a real surface dig.
Well,
It's a scratch.
Yeah.
In fact. And then you're like, oh, well, she's around.
I'm not sure. Maybe she thought you're still retired. I don't know. Maybe people think Girls 5 Eva is the only thing you want to act in and that you're still not. Who knows? We have to ask Liz Flayhive. Let's ask her why she didn't call you. But anyway, there's one that's wild. That's what I'll say. If you tune into it, some of them you'll be like, oh my God, like I totally get the message. Some of them are a little bit like, it's a little bit of a thinker. But then there's one starring one Merritt Weaver, who I love.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the episode is called The Woman Who is Fed by a Duck. And I'll just say it made everyone in my family scream.
I don't want to scream.
There was a lot of screaming.
I don't want to scream.
It wasn't scary.
Is it disgusting? I don't want to be disgusted. I'm disgusted by life on a daily basis. I saw a rat today that was completely broken open and its guts like newly broken open. Sometimes you'll see a flat rat.
Sure.
In New York City.
And it's like kind of dry, rat, no big.
Well, just like flat. Yeah. It's just like, it's a dehydrated rat. Looks like It looks like somebody put it in the Ron Popeil food dehydrator machine. No, this rat was literally had just been run over by a garbage truck or something. And it was, I 100% started gagging, almost vomited.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's the time.
I don't need to be grossed out by fucking Merritt Weaver licking a duck or whatever happens. I don't know. I don't want to know. Here's also where we're at now that I'm back to working out on the regular. I mean, I watched those first couple episodes of Severance and I was so excited about it. But now that I'm back to working out regularly, my television viewing time has really taken a nosedive. And I was so excited about it. Everybody says it's their best new show and blah, 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 blah. Haven't gotten back to my friends in Severance.
Huh.
I can't go back. I mean, I will, but I don't have any time. It feels like I should have more ability to focus on consuming media.
I don't know what the solve is for that. I mean, I get you're just a busy person. I don't know.
I also, Girls 5 Eva is coming out.
Yeah. So you won't even have time to watch that probably.
Well, real talk. I have all the episodes right here.
Oh.
And I
haven't gotten to it.
And they're really funny.
Yeah.
I will say I watched the first 3.5 and I'm like obsessed. It's so good.
Oh, good. How many are there in total?
Didn't we talk about this? However many there were last year. 8?
Okay. Did we talk about
this?
How funny Girls 5 Eva is?
No, I was having a difficult time watching it because I feel like I don't look like
yourself.
So that's like,
yeah,
that's a different story for a different day.
It's a different story
Not
for
today.
a different day. Also, like, I don't know. I get it. That's a hard thing. That's like, do you remember like so many people were kind of mean about it, but I actually thought it was kind of cool. And I'm glad that some people that I know still do it. But somebody started some like Instagram movement a couple years ago where women would hashtag like a photograph of themselves, like 365 feminist selfie. And like people were like very mocking of it, which I understand because people have to.
I don't know what that means. 365 feminist selfie. Is that what it was?
It was just a challenge to post a selfie of yourself like every day. And for you as a person that Instagram was an important part of your career, I totally get like why that wouldn't even be on your radar. But for other people who just, there's that thing that we talk about all the time, how like moms and women are never in the picture. They always offer to take the picture and they, and they're like, oh, my hair's not done. I don't have makeup on. I can't be in this photo. And so it was kind of interesting, just like a challenge to people to take a picture of yourself, like document yourself and do it every day. And I felt like it was really good for me because I really hated it. Like a lot of things that are good for me, I really hated it. But also like it just got me used to like being in the picture, which is something that is not always easy for me. So I appreciated it, but I get like when you say,
are you supposed to like cut them all together?
Nope. You just post a picture of yourself every day. And I was like working at Watch What Happens Live at the time. So like sometimes my hair would be dirty. Sometimes I would be like starved and exhausted. Sometimes
this wasn't a thing that you just did.
No, it was a couple years ago, but it was more than a couple
years ago. We were working together.
Yeah, it's true. It's more than a couple years ago.
Well, a couple years ago was the pandemic started.
Yeah, it's
a few years ago.
It was probably
we were working together.
And
17 years ago, when the internet started, there was a trend that you participated in, and it really was good for you.
Well, I feel like whenever women participate in a trend, people really give it a rough time. And right,
oh my God, always.
Right.
It's such fucking bullshit.
Sometimes rightly so. Like sometimes it is goofy, but sometimes it's just like pretty fucking harmless. Or like in my case, I found it to be really helpful. And so I still have a few friends who are like, I have one friend who is like straight up gorgeous, like objectively gorgeous and always looks gorgeous, and she still does it. And I'm like, well, of course you look gorgeous in every single photo. But I'm glad she does. It always makes me happy when I see it.
Were you supposed to use like the same angle, the same?
Nope, you could just do whatever your heart felt like. So mine was a lot of very dark pictures in the back of town cars going home very late at night from work. But sometimes other ones too. But it was just a good exercise for me to like take a picture of myself, like see myself, because, I don't know. Well, I'm not going to like get into judgment about filters and stuff, like, because I'm not a huge filter user, but I realize that there are filters like on the Zoom. I think right now there's a filter, maybe.
Is there?
Maybe. I think so. I mean, I know Zooms have like some filter or whatever.
I think you have to put them on. Wait, hold on. Let's look.
I don't know.
Because I can't look at, wait, let's see. I have my HD thing on.
That's the opposite of a filter.
Yeah. And it says video filters none.
There you go. So, I think like sometimes filters are so great, like they just really help like a not great picture look better, like by changing like the light source or whatever. But also sometimes people use filters, and whenever somebody uses a filter so you can just see their nostrils and not even that they have a nose and they look like a little space alien.
I kind of can't deal with that. Oh, and I don't have the touch up my appearance thing on either.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I don't know. I mean, I know it
just have good light in
exists
here.
on everything. I was going to say, I'm not a big huge filter user unless someone asks me to filter a photo that we're like in together, which fine. But I do appreciate it when like my camera is smeared or when it's humid outside and it makes everything look like a White Diamonds commercial. I do like that. So,
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of just over it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just not really, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me. Well, there are lots of reasons why. We could get into them at another time, but not today, not this week.
Oh, we're just not.
Maybe next week.
We're not getting into it this week.
I just don't feel like it this week.
Yeah,
I don't feel like it this week, but I will next week. Maybe next week. We've been talking about the How to Buy a Home podcast for a bit.
Love it.
Well, host David Sidoni has been helping first-time home buyers figure out how to buy a house in every kind of real estate market imaginable. And can I tell you something? Not just first-time homeowners, home buyers.
Buyers.
Because it's a crazy market and things change. And if you've been in a house for 15 years and you're like, all of a sudden like, oh, I think I'd like to move.
Right.
Listen, you could like really benefit from the How to Buy a Home podcast because David has the tools every buyer needs in their tool belt.
Yeah. And by the way, like he is so inspiring. I think one of the things that sort of is daunting when you're looking into buying a home, even if you've done it before, is just you feel like you don't know the ropes. You feel like you don't know the language. You feel like you need an entire education. And he gives you that education. It's like if they offered a degree in knowing how to buy a house, he gives you that education. And suddenly you feel like, oh, I can do this. I could do this.
Listen, in the How to Buy a Home podcast, he answers many questions. Some like, how the hell do I do this in 2022? There are stories from other listeners who have made it happen for themselves. He answers questions like, what if I'm not ready yet? How do I even start? Can I buy a home with a 600 credit score? Just FYI, the answer from him is yes.
Yes, you can.
The higher your score, the better your rate will be, but you can still buy a house with a 600 credit score, which is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
David has helped making buying a home a reality for so many people. In fact, he recently released an emergency episode of How to Buy a Home, all about the bidding wars of 2022 with insider tips and tricks to win.
We love an emergency episode.
I love an emergency episode. I'm pointing several friends of mine to that emergency episode because I've had multiple friends who've been looking for houses in Los Angeles who've been like outbid multiple times.
Yeah. In New York, we were being consistently outbid when we were trying to buy a home. And it's really discouraging. And it makes you feel like this might not be for me. And so David is here to tell you, no, it's totally for you. Here's how you do it.
And listen, he can even connect you with a great realtor in your area. Don't rely on old information when it comes to buying a home. Get the latest on the How to Buy a Home podcast and make this the last year you rent. Listen to the How to Buy a Home podcast today. Find How to Buy a Home on YouTube and also wherever you listen to podcasts. Guys, our next sponsor, Busy Bee Crafts, is a brand created by one of our listeners. Thanks for supporting the show, Brittany. Listen, all Brittany ever wanted was to get through her hectic day while looking effortlessly adorable.
That's all any of us want.
I mean, let's be real. That's why she started Busy Bee Crafts, a one-of-a-kind collection of handmade headbands that truly has something for everyone. They release new headband collections seasonally for spring, summer, fall, and winter. Brittany is like a classically very busy New Yorker, just a gal who created Busy Bee Crafts out of a desire to look adorbs throughout the day, regardless of what it might bring. If looking put together despite not having had time to wash your hair is on your bucket list, you've come to the right place. That's what Brittany says, and I agree.
I agree as well.
They're only $15.
That's the best part for me. I want to look adorbs, but like in a moderately priced way.
And they're super cute. Also, I like how they wrap around my head. Birdie has taken a couple of them.
Right. And they stay put. I have like really sort of thin, fine hair. And so they stay put in my hair, which is a nice thing.
They're also very soft. Birdie has very much enjoyed the one that they stole for their hair. So I know. It's always good. It's always good. And listen, Mother's Day right around the corner, Busy Bee headbands make an excellent gift for the busy mom in your life. Mom, I think you know what you're getting. If you need a Busy Bee headband in your life, you're in luck. Busy Bee Crafts is offering an exclusive discount to listeners of Busy Phillips is doing her best. Just in time for Busy Bee's next Basics collection launch on April 25th at noon Eastern. Just go to Busy Bee Crafts and enter promo code BEST for 15% off your first purchase. That's BIZZYBCRAFTS.com, promo code BEST. One more time, go to busybeecrafts.com. Use promo code BEST for 15% off your first purchase. You're going to be feeling adorbs effortlessly in no time. I am covered in bug bites, Caissie.
What's happening?
Well, so, oh boy. The kids had like a weird long break last week.
Right.
And I had to work because I was doing all that press, but Mark took Birdie. Well, wait. So Mark was going to take the kids to Charleston to see our friends.
Sure.
My friend Claire was coming in from England with her kids who Birdie is really good friends with.
Right.
So Mark was going to take the kids because I was working. And then Cricket informed us, thank God, that she had Tinker Day on Thursday before Good Friday that she couldn't miss. Tinker Day was like, you know, a science experimental fun day. And she just really wanted to do it, as you would, as any of us would.
Sure.
And so even though it was stressful and a little bit of a South by Southwest vibe for me, it's okay. It made it through because I was like doing my press junket and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, just leave Cricket and I'll just take care of Cricket. But then Cricket was like really sad not to get to go to South Carolina. So then I looked and it was like not expensive and just whatever. It was fine. So we went down on Friday. Yes, on Friday.
Right.
Just for 2 days. I mean, like, it's really close to New York.
Yeah.
It's not like it was when I lived in LA to get to Charleston.
Yeah.
Impossible.
So I saw your Instagrams with jellyfishes, and I assumed that you were in Charleston.
Jellyfishes.
Yeah.
We were. But my friend Claire and I took our little ones out on kayaks.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not great at is kayaking. I'm just going to say I get very tired.
Yeah, it's fucking
And
tiring.
Children oftentimes do nothing except add lots of weight to your kayak.
Yeah, it's too much kayaking.
Well, I also was like kind of, I don't know. I think I was really, really tired just from the week of press and travel and whatever. Like I just wasn't really thinking, and it was kind of like overcast and a little rainy.
Yeah.
So two things that I always have sunscreen on my face because I just always do.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I didn't put any sunscreen on my body.
Oh, no.
And I put no bug spray on me. And we weren't even working together back then. But like South Carolina, the first time I went there to do vice principals, 7 years ago. Oh, my God. 8 years ago, literally.
Yeah.
Whoa. 8 years ago. I was bit so horribly by bugs that it created some sort of like systemic allergic reaction.
Oh no.
And I like ended up getting this like crazy rash and like then hives and stuff. Like I am reactive.
Yeah. Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But anyway, but Claire had told the kids that we were going to kayak out to this place called Sharktooth Island, which is not an island, but
it sounds very
sounds
appetizing for kids, like Sharktooth Island. What kid wouldn't want to go there?
Yeah. I mean, it is like it's a little inlet thing. Anyway, it is weird to me how currents work, that like certain beaches get all the sea glass or all the trash or all the shark teeth.
Yeah.
So this little beach gets, I guess, all the shark teeth. I'd never been there in all my years. But it also gets all of the tiny mosquitoes that you can't see. Sure. And they just bite the shit out of you.
Oh, my God.
So I'm like 100% covered in these tiny little bumps. And I'm just like praying that they don't cause that thing again, because I don't want to deal with that shit right now.
I feel like you would have maybe already started to get it. So fingers crossed that you won't.
Probably. Although I will say that my itchiness 2 days after was way worse than like day of or next day of.
Oh my God.
But so these shark teeth are like real little.
Yeah.
They're teeny tiny little shark teeth. These little black shiny shark teeth. And it kind of takes, because there's all these shells and broken bits of shells and all this other stuff on the beach, it takes you a minute to find them.
Right.
You know, it's not like very obvious that they're just there, you know?
You gotta look.
You have to look. And Claire and her daughter have been doing this every summer of the kids, an expert at it. Cricket and I obviously had just showed up to do it.
Sure.
First timers. Also, I was a little stoned, maybe.
All right.
Which I mean only helped in searching for the shark teeth. But Cricket, like, for the life of her, could not find a fucking tooth, you know? And I'm sure lots of people had this experience over the weekend because it was ye old hide the eggs for a lot of people.
Yes.
And like, that one kid that just can't find an egg to save their life.
Yes.
And they're like staring at the egg and they're just in tears, like can't find it.
Yeah.
So I could see Christy. Nope, that's not her name. Cricket. I could see Cricket getting more and more frustrated, like as the minutes went on, and Elsa was like, "I found another one. Here's another one. Oh look, I found 3 in one go." And like, also by the way, there's nothing cuter than a child with a British accent.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
it's just true.
It's true.
It's the cutest.
They're always talking about sellotape and things I never heard of.
It's just insane. It's just so cute. Anyway, she's adorable. But I could just see Cricket, like, the frustration mounting.
Yeah.
And I was like, after a few minutes, like, got it. And, like, could see them and could find them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So then I was like, wait, Cricket, come here. I want to see if you got a bug bite. And so she, like, walked over to me and I was like, hey, here, go find this one. And I like palmed it to her.
Yeah.
This is a thing I've never done as a parent. Like I just haven't. Like, I don't know why. I've not done it.
I mean, you were like conspiring.
Well, let me tell you something though, by the way. This is how my brain works.
Yeah.
I was like holding 4 in my hand.
Yeah.
And I only gave her 1. Like, what's wrong with me?
You're like,
And
I want to
then
help
after-
you, but I still want to beat you.
Yes, I swear to God. And I was like, what am I doing? And afterwards I was like, wait, come here.
Oh my God.
But so I was like, here, go find this one, whatever. I handed it to her. And what Cricket was like what came over was like kind of frustrated when she came over to me.
Yeah.
And I palmed her the little shark tooth.
Yeah.
And then she looked up with me with such sincerity, nodded like a little soldier, and was like, thank you. And said it so like matter of fact, just like, thank you. And then walked away. And I didn't teach this child how to do this. I'm telling you, this is why I'm telling you this is the first time I've ever done this. Walked away and didn't find the shark tooth. I was like, what the fuck's happening? 2 minutes later, I found my first one. I was like, girl.
The acting gene
Smart.
is strong.
Smart.
That's it.
Or like the deception gene.
Well, what is acting? But
I don't know.
Lying
I don't
for pay.
know. With makeup on.
Pretending
and cute,
with beautiful
and
makeup.
Cute clothes.
I feel like I had a sea glass experience where I feel like my aunts were like older sisters. Like they were 6 and 7 years older than me, I think. And so there was a time when I think they thought I was a little pain in the ass. And then there was a time where they grew up a little bit and they were like truly big sisters who loved me and loved everything that I did. And I think I remember a beach trip where I eventually caught on that they were leaving sea glass for me to find. I thought I was finding so much sea glass. And then I noticed like how much they were enjoying, how excited I was. And I was like, those bitches are leaving it for me to find.
Wait, listen, I thought about that at first. I did think about doing that. Then I was like, I wanted the credit for it, you know? I really did.
Plus,
I
Cricket
really
would have
wanted the
figured
credit.
it out sooner than me. She was sharper.
Cricket's smart. And I really felt like it could be like a thing between, Cricket and I little Cricks has been having, it's the push-pull of this age.
Yeah.
Because this is when they start to want to like stretch their independence and their autonomy, especially from their mom, right? So 8, 9, almost Cricket will be 9 this summer in a couple months. And this is like, she's really I've noticed it the last couple months.
Yeah.
And really the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Like it's really taken a,
God. Like she has
no. I'm not like the one that can do no wrong anymore.
Right.
Which is
right.
like, as a parent, I mean, with Birdie, it happened when they were 2.5. But no, I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
No, but yeah, it's interesting. I just remember how much I loved being 8. So I'm always excited for, especially an 8-year-old girl. 8 to this day, in my 40s, being 8 was my favorite age.
Okay. I actually think being 9 was mine.
Okay. See?
4th grade for
Yeah.
me. It was 4th grade. Is that 8? Is that 9?
I think you're 9 in 4th grade. Because
Yeah,
I was in 3rd grade. I was 8. Yeah.
Yeah, Cricket's 8. She'll be 9 next year in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Guys, we've really figured it out. We did the math.
What was your favorite age,
backed
everyone
it
at home? Yeah.
I mean, listen, is there something just magical about that age? Because it really, 4th grade was my favorite year. Also, we did realize later that was my favorite school year, and I loved Mrs. Corsino. Shout out Mrs. Corsino. We did figure out that was the one year my parents had me on some sort of ADD medication.
Oh, well, that's probably
Remember?
That
and then
probably
they took, and then they took me off
felt
of it.
how-
And then
yes.
5th grade was like a shit show.
Oh.
We didn't figure that out till 3 years ago, guys. Don't worry about
Oh
it.
my God. Well,
Could have been a doctor.
I'm glad you had a good age 9. I think it's like the year that you figure out, like when you're a little girl, you figure out that you don't have to be polite all the time and that like you have a voice and that you know shit. It's like when you know shit and you can still get away with being wacky. It's like the 1 year being 8 or 9. It's not 1 year, but it's like a period of time, I think, when in the course of a girl's life where you just don't feel like you have to conform or like conform to any standards. Like, I think you just feel like you could fit anywhere because you're not grown up. And so you're not worried necessarily like about how you look, hopefully. And it's like you're at an age where you're still cute. So if you're funny, people really appreciate it instead of like when you're a little bit older and you try to be funny and people are like, you're a tryhard or you should be more ladylike or whatever. I just think it's such a great age. And you also figure out that like, you know how smart you are. You can be independent and you just know a lot of things that you didn't know when you were 7.
I think that's all true.
I think it's true too. I'm happy for Cricket, but I know it's super hard to that feeling when you're like, oh, my baby is grown up.
It is hard.
And you got all those bug bites.
Ugh. Not worth it. Not worth it for the teeth. More bug bites than teeth, by the way. More bug bites than shark teeth.
It's so annoying that sharks have so many teeth. They can just lose them indiscriminately. Willy-nilly. I was so excited because I was reading an article that Los Angeles or California may or may not release those like bioengineered mosquitoes that make like female mosquitoes infertile. And everybody else is like, this is the start of like a sci-fi movie. And I was like, hell no, get those engineered mosquitoes going.
Yes, because what was the start of the sci-fi movie, right? What happened in LA? It's not just global warming, although that has added to it.
Sure. Yeah.
Mosquitoes showed up from a shipping container that didn't get like properly debugged or whatever.
Ugh.
And they made their way into Los Angeles County. Now, they probably would have just died.
Right.
But the county or the city, or I don't even fucking know, probably county, decided to release these other mosquitoes to eat those mosquitoes.
Okay.
And those are the ones that survived and now are living.
And they're
in Los Angeles. I remember the days before mosquitoes. Oh, wait, Gina's back. Hold on. She's going to be wet and covered in mud. Hold on. Oh, shit. Gina's wet. Hi. I mean, I don't even know how to describe to you how dirty and wet she is. Well, I think I just did. Oh, Gina's
a
I need
mess.
to like give her a bath. But I'm concerned because the bathtub here at Casa Kismet does not, the bath situation, the shower, doesn't have like a spray thing,
sprayer,
you know?
yeah.
And I suppose I could, I bet I could order one.
You could order one and just install it.
And
on
it would like go on the thing, maybe? The faucet?
I don't remember what your shower head looked like, but you can probably just add one to your shower head if you wished to. Or you could...
The shower head in Casa Kismet leaves something to be desired.
Oh, so you could just replace it with one that has a handset.
That's so smart.
I mean...
That's why we're friends.
You just, you got to make it what you need for Gina so she can get sprayed off. Or you could just add
I got to spray her off.
Add a thing to your faucet. It's a lot. But Gina lived her best life today.
I mean, let me ask you a question. I think that Gina has lived her best life since birth.
Yeah.
Do you think? No?
Yeah,
I think
I think so.
Caissie, also, let's get back into like what we're doing with our lives.
What are we doing with our lives? Well,
I'm ready.
I haven't done shit this week. I had the best intentions, but
What this week? Yesterday was Monday.
I know.
What are you talking about? You just mean yesterday and today?
Yeah, I mean...
Yesterday and the hour before you got on this call.
Here's the thing for me is that, like, because of, like, my husband's weekend is on, like, Wednesday and Thursday, I have no sense of what a week is, and I have, like, plans to do things at all times, but I really have been... I really have to, like... just get my shit together. But like I had the best laid plans this week. I got my period. It was a fairly debilitating period.
Ordeal.
Still ongoing. And then yesterday I was trying to like be productive and, just do a simple chore, just accomplish a simple chore. And I broke a wine glass loading the dishwasher and then unloading the dishwasher, cut myself really badly on a pizza cutter, which seemed like a very particular betrayal.
It's so dumb.
And I was like, the universe wants me bleeding right now. What is happening? And it was a lot of blood. And then I was like, oh shit, if my husband was here, he has like these good like industrial Band-Aids but he wasn't, and it was just bleeding everywhere. And all I could do was sit down. And then my son was like, oh, I have good Band-Aids. And then he ran and then I was like, why is my whole family like hoarding like special Band-Aids? Like every individual man in my family apparently has their own stash of like specialty Band-Aids that, in their personal effects. But anyway, I was grateful for the Band-Aid, and I was just like, I just called it. I was like, I'm not gonna continue with dishes. Not even that. So just one of those weeks. I'm very salty this week.
I feel salty too. I feel you.
But yes, what are we doing with our lives? We got to
figure it out.
We got to do something. It's I will say it is, hi, little orange cat. There's a little orange cat on the wall watching us do the podcast. I will say that it's really hard for me to, like, I have things that I want to do, but I keep agreeing to do shorter term things for small amounts of money. And I think that has been my mentality, like my entire career. Like even when I had a full-time job, I would still take like one of these side jobs for like a small amount of money because I just have that like feast or famine mentality. And I think I have to maybe stop doing that. I've gotten a little better at being like, I don't have to do this. I don't need to do this. Or like, even though the money would be good, like this job wouldn't be good. Like for my soul, it's not what I need to be doing right now. but I do have to get a little better at it. And there are just certain things that like I shouldn't, I don't know. I don't want to say, it sounds like I shouldn't still be doing, but like if I've been doing something for like 10 years or something, maybe I should graduate past doing that, you know?
I do. Yeah. And I think that like, I do feel like we need to like just consider that that there's like more to be that we could be doing.
Yeah.
Than just waiting for the phones to ring.
Yeah. Well, like our friend Nia Vardalos said, you have to call yourself. If the phone's not ringing, you have to.
But like yourself. The thing is, this is what you're saying. This is what I'm hearing you say. May I offer
Yes,
that?
yes.
What I'm hearing you say is that the phone is pretty rings a lot, but just with like a bunch of bullshit. And same here. Sorry, I'm pouring water, guys. I gotta drink.
Right.
Gotta drink some water. Gotta hydrate. Especially if I'm gonna get that workout in later. And like in a weird way, sometimes the phone ringing a lot with not exactly the right thing.
Right.
Is more difficult.
Right.
Because you're like, well, I'll just put this other shit to the side for the second,
right.
for this minute,
right.
and I'll get back to it. Next thing you know, you're 85 years old and you never got back to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, what if Betsy Ross wanted to make dresses? You know what I mean?
What
She was
if?
just like sewing fucking people's flags and like just doing all the little tasks that people, and that's like what we know her for. And maybe she was like wanted to be famous for cross stitches, you know?
Right. But then also you could argue, one might be able to make the argument that sometimes you think that your journey is one thing.
Right.
But then you find out that it's really
right.
Making flags.
Right.
Sometimes you think you're the next America's Next Top Designer.
Right.
Design star.
But you're America's Next
But
top
really flag star.
Maker, flag star. Yeah. It's true. It's true. I put something on Instagram this week that it's so funny because everyone always is like, is this about me? And I'm like, no, I'm just talking about like a general trend that I see. But I was saying like, you know how like when people are like, oh, I can't learn another social media platform, I'm out. I said, that's me when someone changes their personal brand again, like their public brand. And because I just feel like that.
What does that mean? Tell me. I'm like, sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions.
No, that's okay. I think it's great.
What does that mean?
Well, I was talking about it like in relation to like, you know, you follow influencers and things like that. And like when you know them for one thing, for acting, and then they become like a business person, but then like they shift everything to like activism or whatever because they decided that like business is bad or whatever. Like it's a little bit of that whiplash that we were talking about. Not exactly the same as like whiplash with like social issues or whatever, but just a little bit of like, I'm so happy for that person's journey, but at some point, like I just can't follow it or whatever. So I don't want to be like that. And I don't think that I am like that. Like I think that you and I have had a particular.
That definitely could be me.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that we have had a particular mission. And I think you, like me, have been doing everything all at once too. I don't think you've been. Maybe like one time you were like, I'm not going to act anymore. I'm going to shift to this. And then you like gradually got back into acting. But that was like.
Well, by the way, let's be clear.
Yeah.
I don't audition for shit.
Yeah.
I'm not like actively pursuing acting in the way that most people that I'm friends with who are still acting are.
Right.
Like I literally have not auditioned for an acting job. Wait a minute.
In a while.
8 years?
Yeah. So
7?
Yeah.
7.
So I don't
8 years.
I don't really
It's
think
been 8 years.
I don't really think that's like rebranding yourself or whatever. But I just feel like I'm so happy for anyone's journey. It's just that I can't get so invested in a journey. And then also sometimes I feel like when people keep changing their journey and like making a big announcement that what they're doing and who they are and their brand is changing again, that their mission is changing, I just kind of feel like, but you made me care about that other thing, and now you're saying
who are we talking about? I want to know names. You can bleep it out.
I don't want
I need to know names.
It's just like it's just a trend, like in general, like with people that are influencers and famous people, and I'm just like, I just never know what I'm supposed to care about. And it makes me think that they didn't really care about any of the stuff that they were saying before. But I think it's just a function of, again, like the onlineness, and like I shouldn't really know so much about all these people to begin with. So what I was trying to say anyway, probably really inarticulately, is that like I am proud of us, because I think that all of the things we're trying to do have to do with one another. And we never say like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm doing this, forget about, like, I think that everything I'm trying to do is all in the same vein and it has the same mission. I just think that I have to stop taking a call that derails me from the mission for like whatever it is, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, for like, especially for a small amount of money. If it was a lot of money, derail away. Derail me all you want. But it's never a lot of money.
Well, that's what I always say. Yeah. I'll do that. I got a price.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I got a family to feed. I got a car bill to pay.
I mean, I have a parking lot to pay in New York. Fuck me. Like, I just also don't think that I'm not going to find out who it is offline. just FYI. Don't think that that's not going to happen. I have some guesses. I've got some ideas.
I just don't want to, because I don't want to say, because it could be like an unfair characterization. Like my impression of it could be not someone's intent at all and not the way they see it at all. So I don't want to be like, I think so-and-so is so, disingenuous or whatever. Like, I don't want to say that.
Well, right. Of course. No, I wouldn't think that you would want to do that.
Yeah. So,
ever.
But it's just a thing where I'm like, but if you keep changing what you want, and everybody evolves, like everybody slowly evolves, but sometimes I just feel like people are just trying to hit on a gimmick that will like grab people, and they panic when the thing that they're passionate about doesn't pan out immediately, and so they try to do something else, and it's just always like it's chasing a thing that, I don't know, it's chasing a thing, and then you're like, oh, you just want people's eyes. You don't really believe in the thing that you're saying or doing, or I don't know. I don't even know if this fucking makes sense, but it makes sense to me, and it's like I don't want to do that, and I'm glad that I haven't done that, and so I'm proud of that, but also like, I'm no more or less successful than anyone that is doing that. So whatever.
I just got these bras. I was so excited.
Yes.
Wait, by the way, I didn't realize that Notori was advertising in our podcast. And I picked up my mail and I was like, oh my God, someone sent me very comfortable bras. I thought it was like
an admirer sent you some bras.
Yeah, like a secret little Santa gift. And then, guys, Notori is woman-founded and led. We love that. An independent family business with international distribution. Josie Notori started the company in 1977 from her living room as a young mother, taking inspiration from her native country, the Philippines. And today the brand is celebrating their 45th year in business.
Congratulations, Josie Notori. I've been wearing Notori brand for years. It was big in New York City. And when I finally got to be an adult making my own paycheck and I wanted to wear some, legit bras, Natori was the brand I went to.
Well, they're crafted from the most luxurious materials to keep you comfortable and supported all day long. And best of all, I just don't get that like weird rubby rash because the materials are so good.
Yeah.
And the underwear is so nice.
I love how you're
Honestly,
whispering. You're like, you
guys,
can't believe it's true.
It is. I can't believe it's true. I also am like a little disappointed that it wasn't from a secret admirer, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, I feel like Natori admires all women. And here is how I know that.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
They have a range of bra sizes ranging from A cup to H cup. That H. Yes. And so to know that there's a brand out there making those bigger cup sizes so that you can wear the right size and look amazing is like, that's a huge deal. And that's why I've been a longtime fan of Natori.
So if you've been searching for undergarments for lingerie that's as comfortable and supportive as it is stylish, look no further. Natori is offering an exclusive deal to Busy Phillips is doing her best listeners. Go to natori.com and use the promo code BUSY15 to get 15% off your first order. That's natori.com, natori.com with promo code BUSY15, 15. BUSY 15. Once more, for the people in the back, natori.com, use the promo code BUSY15, 15% off your first purchase. Your boobs will thank you. Ooh, Sakara life. Ooh, Sakara.
That was good.
It's good. Guys, I've been on a journey to wellness, and you know what that means.
I know what it means.
It means for me, I went back into the Sakara. I love Sakara for so many reasons, guys. You've heard me talk about it. But the best, I'm just trying to think of like the one reason I love it the most is the ease of it and the like taste. Two most important things for me.
It's really hard to narrow it down because there's so many good reasons, but I think you nailed it. It's incredibly easy and it tastes incredibly delicious.
Sakara is a wellness company anchored in food as medicine on a mission to nourish your body through the power of plants. And they give you the tools you need to transform your life with their organic, ready-to-eat meal delivery program and functional wellness essentials. I returned to it in a time where I felt like I was not able to find that moderation, like we talk about on the podcast. And I was making myself feel bad with food.
Right.
Sakara's whole philosophy is that food is medicine, can transform the way that you feel, the way that you look. They're nutritionally designed, chef-crafted breakfasts, lunches, and dinners are made with powerful plant-based ingredients. I'm not kidding. They have boosted my energy, supported digestion, helped curb sugar cravings. And let me tell you something. People have been commenting on my glow. They really have. Like, people have been commenting on my skin in the last couple weeks. Plus, it's all delivered right to your door. Very easy. Very, 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 very easy. Sakara has received rave reviews from Vogue, Goop, the New York Times, and Busy Phillips. And right now, Sakara is offering our listeners 20% off their first order when they go to sakara.com/busy, or you can just enter code busy at checkout. That's Sakara, SAKARA.com/busy to get 20% off your first order. Sakara.com/busy. It's so funny because I was thinking, did you see my Instagram story about the insane lights that got put in my house?
Yes. I love them, by the way. I would live with it like that.
Of course you would. But listen, those lights, apparently, they have some app that I'm supposed to get.
Sure.
which, yes, I understand that, guys.
Yes.
Anyone who's DM'd me, got it. However, I think that the electrician installed the lights before we activated the app. Therefore, now it's like impossible to get to the thing that we have to push on the light.
Right.
Guys, if you didn't see my Instagram story, we had this, like, we were working within certain parameters in our house because we were trying to, like, not have to, you know, do like a ton of like structural work or whatever. So in the house, previously in the house, there was like it sort of like this recessed area in the stairwell where they had like really harsh, like fluorescent lights.
Right.
Like a strip, like a, what are those called? What are those called? Oh my God.
Like a compact
the long,
fluorescent?
Yeah, but like the long, skinny ones.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
right. But also that were like hot to the touch.
Yeah.
Which is not great too, because they were from the 80s.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we looked and looked and looked for a light that had like the box of the light could fit in
like the profile.
whatever.
Yeah.
There's literally one light that we found after like searching for the last year, basically. And online, it just looked like it just was like a light.
Yeah, just like a strip light.
It's an LED. It's an LED, right? Like you never have to replace them anymore.
Right.
Is that what LEDs are?
Yes.
I don't understand
Yes.
lights.
Listen, Busy, you're speaking my language. LEDs are like one of my hobbies. I love LED lights.
Oh God, will you just come out here and spend a week with me and help me with fucking light bulbs? I can't. I don't understand anything.
I actually have a good friend of mine from college. Her brother and his husband are like lighting experts, and they usually do they do amazing things. They do like Broadway shows and everything. They also do like when an incredibly wealthy person wants to do like a holiday light display on their estate that is synced with a radio station.
Sure.
They'll do that. But they're both geniuses, and they could probably help you figure. Brian and Sepp. Maybe they'll help you.
Here's the deal. I mean, one of the lights
is like it's like bumping disco colors, like rainbow disco colors and flashing.
One of the lights is broken, so we have to send it back and then get a new one anyway. Yeah. So the electrician does have to come back. It's not like we lost him forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, we can get him to take the lights down, and we can program the thing and use the app that I have downloaded on my phone already.
Stand right there with him while you do it.
180 different light options.
Yes, that's the beauty of LEDs.
Fixture. Okay, here's what I was going to say, and this goes back to what you were saying. Sometimes things just do too much. I just needed to do one thing.
Yes, agree.
I just needed to light my fucking hallway and not have a rave in my hallway, a rainbow rave.
Here's what I will say. There might be a time when you want a rainbow rave and you're glad that your light can do that. There might be a time, but for the most part, you just want like a warm, glowing, not hot to the touch, bright light in that area. Yes.
But I was just thinking, like, I think where people sometimes go astray in life is by doing too much, like trying to be too much, doing too much, taking
the most,
on too much,
as some people say.
I just want to do enough.
The right amount. Yes.
And I want to do it well. And like the problem is, like, I have all of these ideas of things that I want to do. And I have a hard time. There is no one that is like the idea, like rater.
Yeah. Yes.
Rater.
Yeah.
Like where they rate your idea.
Like a ranker.
Like,
yeah.
Like a ranker.
Yeah.
There's no one to put my ideas in order. So then I get like stuck.
Yeah.
You know? And I just feel like you and I have talked about this. Like we've had all these ideas together. We've had all these weird ideas separately. We've had ideas. You've had ideas for like literally like inventions. I've had ideas for like new platforms.
Yes.
Like we have all of these fucking ideas. And it's when you are a person that just like has all of these different ideas, it's really hard to know which one you're supposed to focus on first. It's
really hard. And it's hard because, well, I feel like you get one of two things a lot of times. And I've been trying to crack this for my lifelong mission in life is to crack what is the solution to this. But I think when you have a lot of ideas and first of all, it takes a lot of courage to share your ideas because like you just don't know how people are going to react. And history tells us that like a lot of people that had like the most genius ideas were told like, oh, that's nuts. That will never work, so we know not
like
to listen.
Like how the agents told me busy tonight was a terrible idea that would never work.
Was a pipe dream. Yeah, exactly like that.
I mean, they weren't 100% wrong,
But also like we still did it, we still did it. No thanks to them,
No,
and
but they took that money, boy.
Yeah. And also like, if people had been more supportive of it, then we would have gotten to do it longer,
Probably.
So, yeah.
Also, if I'd been a man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like every guy that's ever hosted a late night show, they're rarely successful to begin with. It's a decision on someone's part to be supportive and to stick with something. And we did not have the luxury of that.
No.
So, so it is different. And you never know when you're going to get that. But like also Joan Rivers only had a late night show for 6 months, so I'm
in good company.
We're certainly in fucking great company. But yeah, I think whenever you have an idea and you get up the courage to share it, you either get someone who like falsely says like, that's a great idea, keep at it, when they don't really mean that, or, that they're just kicking the can down the road, or you get someone who is like, will just shit on your idea and try to tear it apart. And,
Right.
And I think the goal is like, it's between those things, right? Like you want to honestly figure out what are the challenges with an idea, what it would take to make it happen. And, and then also help you prioritize all of your ideas. And I think that's where we do well together. But I think that we're good sounding board for each other. But I think where it gets hard is that, it's hard, right? Because we're both like trying to make our lives work and we're on separate coasts. And also like you just said, you don't have time to like watch your own show. You know what I mean? And it's hard. It's hard because I think that something that other people are good at, and I'm not necessarily good at this, and I think you probably struggle with it too, is just saying like, I'm doing this right now. This is what I'm doing. And I can't talk about like what anyone's having for lunch. I can't talk about, I can't answer a text from a friend if they just want to shoot the shit. I can't do anything else right now. But other people are so good at that.
Like, this morning, Michelle called me and, I was going to work out and I was whatever. And I was like, but I was sort of like putting some laundry away when she called.
Yeah.
But then she was just like in a mood to chat and like had a story to tell me and blah, 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 blah. And then we just spent like an hour on the phone.
Yeah.
And it was in my head like multiple times, like, if you keep talking, there's no fucking way.
Right.
Like, you should get off the phone if you want to make your workout a priority. And then I was thinking, and I woke up super early this morning because Mark had to leave town again to go see his parents, which is sad. His mom's back in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I know, oh God. But so I but I woke up at like 6.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wake the kids up till like 7. And I was like, I'm productive.
Right.
I'm making moves. I mean, I didn't fucking do anything. I literally did nothing.
It's really...
I hung some coats.
There you go. And you have to give yourself
And-
credit for that. But I think you and I, where we struggle is that, and I don't think it's not a bad, it's no knock against us. It's just that because of like how we are, we will stop what we're doing in favor of someone else presenting us with a need, even if that need is like shouldn't really be a priority. It's something that the other person can do themselves, and then you train people and you train yourself to be like, well, that's just how you can just go to Busy and be like, oh, what's a good place to get like a roast beef sandwich? And you'll drop whatever you're doing to like,
yes. And so here's also where we're at in my personal life, which is just that Raymond was so unbelievably helpful to me because I would text him, Caissie needs to know the best roast beef sandwich. We send her the information for this place. And some people might be like, well, that's more work, but it like I've already done, like I'm still, but it's not, because then I hand it over to him. I would hand it over to him and he would like take care of it and get it done.
Right.
Or like, oh, Mother's Day is blah, blah, blah. Can you please, make sure this, know? And the lack, I like texted Ray because I was watching his Instagram stories that were making me laugh because he was like crying hysterically on the beach. And it was just like, honestly, just making me laugh. But I also was like, just come back to New York. LA clearly doesn't want you. Also, I'm going to need you to come back and be my assistant again because I literally can't fucking do this shit. Like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. You got to come back.
Yeah. And did he reply?
It was like, I'm on my way back. I'll come see you next week. I'm like, that's not the answer I was looking for, but that's okay.
Well, it's interesting too, because I think that, and like having an assistant, that's a different, like you're paying that person to help you do. But I've been noticing something recently where like, just say like, I'll post like whatever. I'll post like, oh, I like this coat or whatever. I think this is a nice coat or something on social media. And then like people will message me and be like, do they ship internationally? And I'm like, how the fuck would I know? You know what I mean? Like, I'm never that rude, but I'm like, clearly I've engendered this reputation as someone that would be like, oh, like either that I would know or that I would like drop what I was doing to look. And I'm just like, I don't know. I linked to the website. Look upon the website that exists for these questions.
This is now we're getting into my like, this is actually my kink. Like people who are so fucking devoid of, like, I have a time or two caught myself doing the same. And every time I do, I like laugh hysterically at myself and say to whomever I have just asked some insane question that I could easily look up the answer to.
Right.
I'm so sorry. That is literally not for you. Like I can handle this. I'm so sorry. But it is, I don't know what it, I'm like, I've gone back and forth about it. Like culturally, I feel like it happens more and more. And I don't know if it's because people are used to like seeing a thing and just having all the answers right in front of them for said thing.
Right.
or if it's like another way of connecting with people.
I've had people tell me, when I'm like, I wouldn't know the answer to that question. I've had people be like, don't get mad. I'm just making conversation. And I'm like, that's not a conversation.
But again, let's return to the theme of the world right now, which is that no one knows how to be.
Right.
Like how to be a person. And so somebody sees the coat that you post and they're like, Caissie and I always have the same taste in clothes. Everything she posts, I like. But they don't think to DM you or reach out to you and say, it's so funny. Every single thing that you post, I love.
Right.
And like, we just have the same taste. And I like really appreciate following you because you really share all of the things that are so great and that like just speak exactly to me. I feel like we're friends, even if we're not. But that, for whatever reason, is like hard for them to access.
Yes.
So they just like text like, do you know if they ship to my house? And you're like, honey, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
People, that could be right. That could, people feel like they have to ask like a real question or
like
whatever.
A real question in order to try to get like a connection or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to go. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with
All
that
right.
right now.
All right.
Yeah. I think that that's what's happening. And I feel like whilst annoying, we need to like understand that we're in a transitional period of communication and that everyone's a fucking idiot.
Well, here's what I'll say is that like I appreciate the reframing on it because whenever something is very irritating to me, that's always a goal of mine is to like reframe it where I'm thinking of like, well, why is this knucklehead doing this? Like, why are they doing this thing that makes me incredibly irritated or ragey or makes me lose the feeling in my face because all of my blood went to my extremities or whatever. You know what I mean?
Your vagina. I thought you were about to say your vagina, and I was like, wow.
Well,
that's
I mean,
amazing.
that's where all of it is now. My knuckle coming out of my knuckle and, but because I cut myself with a pizza cutter.
Right. I got it.
But yeah, so I appreciate the reframe. And that's always like my goal whenever I'm irritated with someone, because I don't want to be irritated with anyone. I don't want people to be irritated with me for the most part, unless I don't give a fuck if they're irritated with me. But for the most part, I don't want to be annoying to people. But that's a good reframe because I'm always like, why are you asking me this?
Now, here's where I'm annoyed. Okay?
Yes.
I'm annoyed when we make plans for dinner with someone.
Yes.
And then they text back, where is that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where it's like, well, if we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let's go to Il Buco.
Right.
I don't know if that just sounds like a restaurant.
Yeah, sure.
It is a restaurant.
Okay.
Sure. Wait, where is that? Oh, it's, over there on Prince and whatever street. Right?
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're texting with somebody, let's meet at 7 p.m. at Il Buco, and they write back, where is it? It's like, baby, I can't do everything for you.
Well, also, especially because I know you and I know that whenever you're like making a plan for a restaurant, it's usually like you can just usually click the text and see right where it is. Usually there's been like a link or a pin sent or something. So I also think that's a weird thing that like people are, how you hate Google Docs? Like you just think it doesn't work for you.
I can't. It doesn't work for me.
It's like the one more, I can't learn this one. I'm not going to learn this one. But like I felt the exact same way about Google Docs when they first happened, but then everyone was using them and I was like, I'm going to be fucked if I don't figure this out. And I was so scared of Google Docs at first because I just couldn't wrap my head around the way that it was working. But now I know, and it's all I use. And like, I'm fairly confident in Google Docs. And I know that if there's something I don't understand, I can just look it up. But I think a lot of people feel that way about texts that have like clickable links. Like, I think they just have never tried. They're worried it will like transport them to some other world that they won't be able to get back to you from.
Porn.
Yeah,
they're pretty sure
it'll be on
it's gonna
Pornhub. I think it's also
lead to porn.
The same with whenever you send someone saying, okay, let's do that at like 3:45, whatever. you'll see like in your phone or your email that's underlined, and then you can just click it and it'll go to your calendar and ask you if you want to make an event and like be
Always,
reminded of it. But I think people don't know that, which makes sense because like we didn't go to phone school. We didn't go to like, like, but I think it is like a thing among our peer group to be like, I don't know why that's underlined. I'm never clicking it. I'm not curious about it. I don't want to know about it. But also, sorry, I missed the lunch that we agreed to in a text because, I don't have an assistant. I don't know how to make events in my calendar. But they're scary. They're scary. I remember my grandmother, we had like one of the earliest types of microwaves, a radar range. This is like, I'm really dating myself, but it had like dials. It didn't even have like buttons. And my grandmother was terrified to use it. She was terrified. Like all she knew is that if you put metal in it, it would explode and, cause a lightning storm and burn down your house. And so she was terrified to use it. And so I, as a little kid, a very little kid, would have to use that stupid fucking radar range whenever my grandmother wanted something warmed up quickly. And like, she loved the benefit of it, that you could like heat up a bowl of soup really quickly, but she was terrified to do it so much so that she was like, I got asked to do a lot of things when I was a little kid that probably.
I know. I'm like, you should see my face right now. I'm like,
but I think like things like that, a lot of tech and like things that should be helping us are actually like maybe making things a little harder because people are scared of them and rightfully so. Like, where do we learn about that? But, I don't know. It is weird. I think it does lead to people just being like, oh, the entire world is my library and this person will look this up for me. And, and it's not much. That's another thing too. I think people are like, why do you get so mad? It's not that big a deal. But I'm just like, I don't know. If it's not that big a deal, then why can you not do it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and so that is something that I think both you and I struggle with because we want to be like the nice person who's like, oh no, I'm happy to help. And, and you've never not helped me when I have needed help in the moment. But also like, I feel like I try to be mindful of like, I have to really mean it when I'm asking for help. And like, I know for the most part that like, I try to find things out for myself, but it's weird. I think it's like a weirdly paralyzing thing for some people to try to find things out for themselves. And then I think you and I suffer from always dropping everything to like help someone with something that they could maybe do for themselves.
Totally. It's, dare I say, exhausting.
It's a little exhausting because like,
exhausting.
You don't think about it that it's just like, when you ask someone a question and send them down a rabbit hole of trying to help you. But if they've like built this reputation of being that kind of person where everyone thinks of them like that, then that's probably, that's a big part of their life, just getting that all day and just getting people to be like, where does this come from? And what do you know about this? And like, I never want to tell someone like, I don't know, or I can't help you. But I do have to get better about it. I think I am. I think I have gotten. I mean, we've talked about it on the podcast. Like with my family, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Or like.
Yeah, that doesn't work with my family, but I love it for you.
I have heard, listen, I want to give you credit because I have heard you say sometimes like, I'm talking to someone right now. I'm doing this right now. And I think that's hard when you have kids.
Oof. You know what? I was just talking about with someone the other day, how I don't indulge my children in adult discussions. And it is another one of my kinks. When I say kinks, guys, what I mean is like a thing that drives me so fucking insane that I like kind of can't deal. It makes me like rage secretly inside, internally.
Yeah.
But like if you're having like a kind of intense conversation with someone about something and they're like 7-year-old comes up and they're like, who? What? Right. Who? What? What? And the mom is like, we all know fucking parents like this. And if you're listening and you're one of these parents, stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. I'm not here to mom shame you, but I'm here to tell you to knock it the fuck off. Your friends hate it. And the mom will be like, oh, we were just talking about Busy's friend, Kathy, who's a drug addict. And it's really sad. And she had to go back to rehab last week. That's where if you're sick and you can't get off of the medicine that you shouldn't be taking, you have to go there so you can get out of your body. And then they're like, why? And I'm always like, shut the fuck up. The kid does not need to know
this
about.
Is not for her.
Like my friends, I'm gossiping with you, not you and your 7-year-old. Like, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Have you had that experience? It is the worst. I hate it so fucking much. And the fact is, I have 2 kids, especially Birdie, obviously, God bless, who is like Birdie is so intelligent and so verbal and like just honestly we've been told by teachers and faculty at every school that we've gone to, even the one we had to leave because they mishandled Birdie being bullied so horribly and really fucked that up, that Birdie is like so ahead in so many ways.
Yeah.
Of their peers. Birdie will come up to me if I'm like having like an intense conversation with a friend about something, and Birdie will be like, what are you talking about? And I'll be like, it's literally not for you.
Right.
It's not for you.
Because
it's not for you. And that's just what it is.
Yeah.
And if I came in and your friend was sharing something with you that was very private and like about their life, maybe you would want to tell me about it later. Maybe you wouldn't.
Right.
That's okay.
Because I was going to say, like, my kids also, like, I feel like have always been able to hold their own in a conversation, and would even have opinions in a conversation
for sure
with adults, because that's just, especially my older son, he just always preferred the company of adults. But I'd just be like, oh, it's none of your business. Like,
yeah.
Even if you could completely understand and hang with the conversation, you weren't invited. It's none of your business.
And that is the thing that I think like our generation of parents have had to like really figure out how to walk that line.
Yeah.
Between, as we were, working ovens at age 6.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or being like, kind of just left to your own devices in many ways.
Yeah.
As opposed to like what the helicopter parents of like involving your kids all like constantly, or like just being around, like having like not letting them have any sort of independence or autonomy. Like it is a tricky thing to figure out what that line is in parenting. I just can tell you that like, as a person who enjoys talking to kids, enjoys hanging out with children, enjoys hearing their like stories and their interesting takes on things. And like, the teens in my life, Birdie included, like sometimes have some wild fucking ideas about shit that are interesting and like deserving of space.
Right.
And like recognition. Right. That all being said, I don't want to like be friends with someone or work with someone or whatever, where if I'm like having an intense conversation with them about something and their like child comes up, that their child then all of a sudden is just like looped in. Just CC'd. Like, let's not CC our 8-year-olds.
Let's not CC.
Do you know what I mean?
I
just want to like, if you BCC your 8-year-old, that's on you.
That's your business.
Like you can have, if you BCC them and you like break it all down at night, you have boundary issues. But like that is for your 8-year-old in therapy when they're 27 to like dig through. But what I am saying to you is that do not CC them while I'm a part of the conversation, because not only will I be like horrified And I've said like I know that thing, like, because everybody's got that thing there. Everyone's real touchy about like what you can do or say to other people's children. Like I will say, it's actually none of your business. Sorry. And like I had a friend once be like, that's harsh. And I'm like, well, it's really not. It's really not for them. And I'm like talking to you, not them.
Right.
Like I'm not, you know,
I
just am not. And I love having the kids around and I love like having kid time. But if I'm having like a thing.
Right.
Anyway, I've made this point now. We can move on.
But also, I would just like to say, for everyone listening, how many times in our little lives were we told something was none of our business, none of your beeswax? It's actually not that harsh when you think about it.
But there's also ways to say it that it's like, you don't even have to say it's none of your business. You can be like, you know what, actually, this is just a conversation that's for the two of us.
Right.
Which is like a nicer, gentler way.
Yeah.
This is not something that concerns you or that you even really need to know about. Trust me.
Yeah.
You know, like I say that to my kids all the time. I'm like, this is not something that you even will care about. It's going to be so boring to you.
Oh my God. You know what you're totally reminding me of, though, I feel bad because it's kind of mean, but also it was kind of hilarious. But when we, at Busy Tonight, that PA that always emptied the garbage every time I was like having a hard talk with someone.
Oh my God.
They would bust into
You guys. She wasn't doing it on purpose. They weren't doing it on purpose. They weren't doing it on purpose. But there was a PA on our late night talk show who had uncanny timing. Where it was like the timing of an 8-year-old. I'm not kidding. Every time Caissie had to have anytime someone was crying in Caissie's office, which happened, lots of people on the show with lots of feelings, and that we encouraged. Anytime anyone was having a moment, in they come to need to clean the trash cans that second. Like, what? No.
But it also was just it was the timing, but then also I'm here now, I'm just going to keep doing it, even though this person's obviously crying, and then trying to do it as quickly as possible, which then makes it I just have a memory of them trying to open a garbage bag, how you can't find the opening, and trying to do it as fast as possible and panicking and turning the garbage bag over and over, and me just being just get out, just go. Get out, please.
Just leave.
Please.
By the way, did you see the shirt that I'm wearing?
Yes. Oh my God. Busy is wearing a t-shirt that I gave to Mark for a Christmas gift that says, I love spaghetti.
I cannot. I laughed so fucking hard when I saw this t-shirt after unpacking everything. And this is it just made me laugh. So I just couldn't stop laughing. I could not stop laughing.
Your sister doesn't listen to the podcast. She won't care.
No, fuck no. She doesn't listen.
Busy's sister, Leanne, was a producer on Busy Tonight, and she was producing a cooking segment.
And she was great.
Yeah,
she was great.
She's great. She has great ideas, and she is so great at convincing people to do things and play along with things, and so great at finding people, which was she should be a private detective. Anyway, we were doing a cooking segment on the show, and some just Hollywood break. When you're doing a cooking segment, often you'll try to find a reason for why the person's cooking something, depending, just some kind of peg to hang it on.
I cannot.
And somebody was coming on to make they wanted to make this spaghetti pie, but they wanted to make sure that there was a reason for making the spaghetti pie. And then did Leanne just say Busy's husband loves spaghetti? Is that what she...
I think that what happened was that maybe the guest offered a few different things, none of which Leanne could have find any connection to.
Right.
And then the spaghetti pie, Leanne was like, well, oh yeah, Busy's husband loves spaghetti, which is literally not true. In fact, of all of the pastas, of all the cuts of pasta, Spaghetti is probably, I would say, like on the lowest rung of Mark's list. Like doesn't he's like, it's neither here nor there. Like it's too thick. It's a little, he just is, it's not, he's not
He's
a fan.
ambivalent towards spaghetti.
But we didn't know any of this.
Right. Because it was just like.
Because that's just like what you do as a producer. You're just like talking to the guest, trying to help them like, you know, find the form of the segment or whatever. And then the producer comes to the host, moi, and the showrunner, Caissie, and it's like, okay, so she's going to make this like whatever thing. And she's got a really cute story about this and da 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 da. And did she say it in the pre meeting?
No, she didn't. She didn't because like it's just like a detail. Like who knew? But then so you're making
But then we're doing it. We're doing the segment. And then she goes, and I know your husband loves spaghetti, Busy. And I was like, what?
And you were like, and then you just were like,
I don't know who told you that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do that. I would not.
You just were like, oh yeah, he loves spaghetti. And then Mark, who was like behind the scenes, was like, are they having a conversation about how I love spaghetti? He was like, it's making me sound very simple.
He's like, that was his biggest issue with him.
He was like, you're making me sound like I'm 7.
You're making me sound like a child. Like I'm like just like a child, a basic baby who just
Mark
likes
loves
spaghetti.
buttered noodles.
It's making me
and nuggets.
It is so funny. So then Caissie, of course, got Mark a t-shirt that said I love spaghetti for Christmas that year.
Which, by the way, was like, it was a shirt that was already being made by a company, but then they discontinued it. But then they made a special one for Mark because I implored them to make one more I love spaghetti t-shirt.
Just one more. Just one more. But maybe we should add that to our merch. Should we do I love spaghetti?
I love spaghetti.
It's so fucking funny. It's so funny because also when you think about it, like who has ever offered up that they love spaghetti? You know what I love? Oh my God, you guys. Do you know what I love to eat? Spaghetti. I just fucking can't get enough of spaghetti.
It is so. It's such a family thing. It couldn't have worked any other. It's so dumb. When you turn 11 and your mom tries to give you spaghetti and you're like, oh, I don't feel like it, and then she's like, you love spaghetti,
right? And you're like, yeah, well, I'm. And that was when I was 10. I'm 11 now.
10 years old anymore. And it's such a family thing to be like, Mark loves spaghetti, aka like I saw him take a bite of spaghetti one time.
So weird.
And then it just became like such a huge part of the interview. And of course, like Mark was there and he was like, why are they talking about that I love spaghetti? Oh, it was so funny.
It was really funny.
It was so funny.
It was really funny. Guys, it was so fun. We had some laughs, didn't we?
We had a lot
Didn't
of
we
laughs.
have some laughs making our dreams come true for that brief period of time until the carpet was pulled from under us?
It was. Well, you know what I wish? I wish there was some way to go back and do it again and just enjoy how fun it was without all the stress. Like even if I knew like, oh, we're going back, we're only going to do this. It's only going to last for 6 months. Like I just wish in a way that I almost knew that so that I could just enjoy it.
I think we did. I thought we did enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, we really did.
I mean, I was stressed.
You had more stress.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Like I was stressed about like, because that fucking sucks to tell a bunch of people who are massively talented that they don't have jobs anymore in a few weeks or whatever.
That?
All that
I was
stuff.
so stressed about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
obviously.
There was a lot. I just wish there was some way to like go back and enjoy all of the super, super fun things without like any of the like just back and forth and worrying and, So proud of everyone, though. Everyone's gone on to do amazing
but
things.
like in a way, it's sort of genius because the stress made us do really fucking weird, funny things.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
And like we just were like that text I sent. Like we were just like fucking wild. We were wild
because that's like when you get, I always think of like the end of Conan O'Brien, like when Jay Leno came back and took back The Tonight Show, like Conan O'Brien was at his best when he had nothing to lose. And I feel like we had everything to lose, but also nothing to lose. Like we were just.
Right. Because we knew no matter what, it was already gone.
Right. So.
Truly.
Yeah. So we just went for it. And when I went for that like big job meeting for the job that I didn't get, we just mostly shot the shit, which is maybe where I went wrong. And I never was.
Not at all.
I
not
never
at all.
was going to get that job.
Not at all. You weren't going to get the job.
But anyway.
I know who got hired.
Yeah.
It was always their job.
But anyway, one thing I did say, and one reason I'll say it, like why I think I'm fucking good at what I do is because, and I'll give this out to anyone for free because it makes TV a better thing. When you're making a show, you have to ask yourself why you're doing, what you're trying to say, and are you the only show on that could do that thing? You know what I mean? Like that's how we get all these like homogenized ideas of what TV are. And when you like are hearing something, you should be able to play a game when you're hearing something from a show and you can like almost directly pinpoint it to what show, that it came from. And so that's one thing that I think we did really well is that we were like, we're going to do things that nobody else could do who's on TV right now. And we maintained it every night.
Oh, and still, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was really important to us and it means that like sometimes we had to stay a little later and work a little harder, especially since we had the tiniest team. But it was worth it and I'm proud of it. So
me too.
Yeah.
I am too. Should we release it in a boxed set?
I have it on a little thumb drive in my desk right in front of me.
I have it on a thumb drive too. I have no idea where that thumb drive is.
That's the problem with like a thumb drive for you is that it's the tiniest item and you have moved several thousand times since you received it. So where could it even be?
To be fair, though, it was a safe thing to give me at the time. I hadn't moved in like 15 years.
But like if your thumbs weren't attached to you, you probably wouldn't know where those were either.
Well, at this point, yes. It's a miracle, but it's a miracle that they are even still. Okay, first of all, look at what I got one of those blood blister things from slamming my finger in the gate this morning.
Not great.
That sucked. Then I cut my cuticle. Well, this was my fault, really. I didn't have one of those like little cuticle nippers, so I was like, I'll just use nail clippers.
Oh,
don't do
probably
that.
not a good
Don't do
move.
it. It would not stop bleeding.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And then, yeah, I just am like all jacked up.
You know what? You need to come to our our online manicure tutorial.
When is that?
April 29th, I believe. I'll put a post on Instagram though, so you guys can find it and sign up because it
almost just sounded like I was doing an ad for it,
Yeah.
like that we had planned that, but I really didn't. We really had not.
No, they're
planned
not
that.
advertising today. But that being said, I do think it's going to be fun and you can pick up some cuticle tips. I don't know.
I'm good at it. I'm good at my cuticle. I'm good at doing it. I don't know. I'm on a journey right now to try to grow my nails naturally without the fake nails.
Yeah, and just let them breathe.
And it's just a lot. It's hard.
It's a lot.
Because they're really weak right now.
It's a lot.
And so then I was like, cuticle health is the most important. And then I took it a step too far.
That happens. It's just like when you shaved your face off.
I went too fucking far.
Oh, Helix sleep. We love Helix sleep. Is that a good one?
That was good.
That was all right. I kind of like, I don't know.
It was like
It went off a cliff, I think.
I feel like it had some 80s vibes, which, I've been really into lately. So I liked it. And it's the truth. We do love Helix.
We love Helix because getting enough sleep is hard enough without the realization that it's your mattress that's causing you to toss and turn all night.
Yeah. Think about how long you've had your mattress. And like, also, thank you, mattress. It's done right by you for so many years, but it's time to maybe, retire it, let it reach its final resting place and upgrade your mattress to one that is, that you deserve. You've earned it.
You deserve it. You've earned it. And let me tell you how easy Helix makes it. There's a quiz. Takes 2 minutes. You complete that quiz and it matches your body type and your sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Everyone's unique. Helix knows that. There's many different mattress models to choose from. This is not one of those companies that just sends the same mattress to everyone. That is not what Helix is about. This is their business. They have soft, medium, firm mattresses, great for cooling you down if you sleep hot. Even a Helix Plus mattress for plus size folks. And let me tell you something. You take the quiz, you order the mattress that you're matched to, the mattress comes right to your door, shipped for free. You don't have to step foot in a mattress store again. Why would you?
No.
I don't. You guys, it's so easy. They have a 10-year warranty and you get to try it out for 100 nights risk-free. They're even going to come and pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Just go to helixsleep.com/best. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz and they're going to match you to a customized mattress that's going to give you the best sleep of your damn life. And Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/best. True Bill, True Bill, True Bill, True Bill. That one was like, you thought I was going one place and then I just went somewhere else with it.
I get it. I get what you were doing. It was melancholy at the end.
Mm-hmm. Do you know why free trials renew without your consent?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's a huge scam to get money from you.
That's right.
They know that you're gonna just not be able to remember that you subscribe to something and take money from you month after month. And the only time that you remember is the second after you get a notification that they just took money out of your account.
The only time I remember is when my credit card expires and I get a notification from something I don't even know what it is. That's like, we're having trouble processing this monthly charge. And I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about?
Worst.
Wait, that thing 5 years ago that I signed up for a free trial so I could like literally read one article. Are you kidding? How much of my money have you taken? Well, guys.
Good news.
If you're like me, and I have a feeling you might be.
I have a feeling a lot of people are.
You need Truebill in your life. It's the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or, like me, you just forgot about. Insane.
It is, on average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Who could not use $720 in their pocket right now? I can.
I would use it. It would already be gone. I mean, honestly, like I really could. I got many things I could pay with that $750, $720.
Yeah. And by the way, they don't just alert you to subscriptions that you forgot about. There's like a Truebill concierge that actually cancels the subscription for you. Because as you know, some companies make it really difficult to cancel their stupid subscriptions. And you're looking all over for like, what's the button that I press and where do I have to email to cancel? Truebill knows all that. They just handle it for you.
Guys, take control of your subscriptions with the new free Truebill app. Do it. It empowers you to save more, spend less, see everything, take back control of your financial life. I'm like very on board with this. We need to know. Take control of your subscriptions, the money that's going out. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at truebill.com/best. Go right now, truebill.com/best. Could save you hundreds a year, guys, or more. Truebill.com/best.
Can I just tell you, Gina smells so bad?
Yeah, there's something about like when dogs are outside, even if they don't tromp through the mud or whatever, it like activates their like dog smell glands. And I just feel like even when my dogs just go outside for a few minutes, they come in smelling so friggin' doggy.
You know what would be great?
What?
Like a dry bar, but for dogs.
You can just take your dog for a blowout.
Yeah, and it would just be like you could make same-day appointments. It's like you call dog groomers and they're like, okay, we can take you in 4 weeks. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah.
I need a thing. I'm trying to paint my nails while I do this. I really do need that mic stand. Where's that mic stand?
You need that mic stand. Raymond will get it when he comes back to you.
He's not coming back, Caissie. We have to accept it and move on.
I know, but it's hard. Are you going to get another assistant or are you going to go it alone?
Well, I don't know what's happening. I'm having it's hard.
Just a moment.
Hard to decide about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also feels like, I don't know. God, should we make it a show? A show within the show?
Being the assistant.
Uh-huh.
I mean, listen, I know that P. Diddy had that show about like finding an assistant, right? Is that true? I didn't watch it.
I have no fucking idea.
But as a former assistant, I think that a show about celebrity assistants would be a good dramatic, like soap opera, like a nighttime.
Well, it would be a good reality show. Remember, we pitched it to Raymond. He was not interested. I was like, stay. We'll do a show. He's like, no.
Oh my gosh. No, I think I would love like a scripted drama about assistants because then you could really tell the stories. I feel like if it was a reality show, you'd have to know who everyone worked for and then it'd be like cleaned up for public consumption. But like if you made like a scripted drama out of it, you could tell the truth plus,
The truth plus.
And then that would be like a wild scripted drama.
Yeah. Okay. The other day, again, back to my Instagram story. Sorry, I like hate it when people like reference their own social media, but whatever, it's fine.
I hate it when I do, but I don't hate it when other people do. So.
Well, I actually don't hate it when other people do either, I guess.
I think you just feel weird
do.
doing it when you do it yourself.
Because then you're like, oh my God, did you see my Instagram?
Yeah.
Of course. Right. Okay. Well, when I was in Charleston, I was like really feeling Dawson's Creek vibes on the creek.
Yes.
And then I was like, everybody always asks, why don't I sell a reboot? But it's just my character, Audrey. It's like long-running sitcom comes to an end and realizes that she needs to get her non-binary teen out of Hollywood and moves to this idyllic place that, her roommate from college was always talking about. And then they get there and it is like sort of amazing and idyllic. But then also like abortion's illegal in the state and like there's like rampant racism and sexism and
right. Yeah, it's very
fentanyl overdoses.
And, it's very it's like Stars Hollow, Gilmore Girls meets Euphoria.
Haven't watched literally any of those.
But I love
that's where I'm at.
a reboot / spinoff with opportunities.
It would, yeah. I'm saying it's more of a spinoff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's so funny whenever people ask and they're like, I heard there might be a reboot of Dawson's Creek. I'm like, you just made that up.
Right.
Like, who did you hear that from?
There might be a reboot of anything.
There could be. Also, like, I'm not number one on their call list if they decide to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're like, they've got a list of other people first that were on the show for longer.
Nothing makes me feel worse than, like, it's, you know, I know people are like, oh, poor celebrities. Oh, it's hard to be rich and famous. But,
is that what people are like?
Yes. But nothing makes me feel worse for someone when they're asked, like, on a red carpet about a reboot of something that they were involved in. And they're like, yeah, nobody's been in touch with me, but yeah, I did read about that, but happy to talk if they decide they want to talk to me, but no worries if not, no problem. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so awkward. And like, it just makes me feel terrible for people.
I don't know. I mean, yes, but also, I don't know. I think a lot of times, like, I've been asked questions where I'm like, I don't know, you'd have to ask so-and-so. No one's ever, you know. And I feel like, to me, it's always just like less salty about myself and more just like, dude, fucking, I know what you're trying to get. You know what I mean? Like, so annoying, you know, like, I'm just not going to give you what you're asking for.
Yeah. I never feel bad when the person is like, well, when they didn't want to do it, like, because I've seen people be like, oh, I haven't heard about that, but I'm not doing it or whatever. Then you're like, they're in that position in their life where they're not going to go back to do the old thing. But I always feel like whenever somebody is like, oh, nobody's called me yet, or, you know, but I love that person. So, you know, if they call, you'll be the first to know or whatever. Cause I always feel like, well, they're obviously like, seems like they're hoping that someone will call or like that they don't want to shut it down. So I always feel kind of sad for them.
Oh my God. I do remember after we did that like reunion Entertainment Weekly cover of Dawson's Creek or whatever, I was on a red carpet like not long after that, and some entertainment reporter was like, now Busy, Katie Holmes was telling us that there's a group thread now that's really lively since the photo shoot. What are some of the things that you guys text back and forth? And I literally was like, Michelle and I were not included on that. I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
No.
I'm like, literally don't know. I didn't know there was a group thread until just this second. Thank you.
Oh, no.
Thank you for that. I don't have anyone's phone numbers anymore, except for James Vanderbeek, who I text sometimes. And James Vincent McMurrow texted me like last month, and he's got, you know, because he lives in James Vincent McMurrow, the singer who does many things. He has a new album coming out soon, but he lives in Ireland mostly with his family.
Yeah.
But like sometimes has different phone numbers or whatever. But anyway, the way that it popped up, I thought it was James Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a wild text from James Vanderbeek. And I was like, I'm just going to hold on this for 1 second.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how to respond. And then when I realized it was James Vincent McMurrow, I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. It was like about Birdie and like a conversation that like, I'm like, I haven't talked to James about what is
yeah,
this?
yeah.
So weird.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
And then figured out
It just
was,
required context.
because it said like James V.
Right. Oh, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just popped up like a number, like, you know, like how sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh
Anyway,
my God.
guys, good story. Good story, buddy.
Well, maybe James Vanderbeek will text you and you'll
We
know
talked
me.
not long ago, and I also texted him when I was in Austin when I was having like child care issues because he's got 400 children, and like I thought, well, maybe they had a babysitter, but I don't think that they didn't have anyone. They didn't have anyone to send my way.
Oh man, you could have just sent your child to his house, and he probably wouldn't have noticed. How many kids does he have?
Wait, I'm not kidding. I feel like he kind of offered that. Wait, somebody offered that. someone I like have known
Yeah.
offered that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if it was him or not. I could look through, I don't want to look through my text now. But somebody did say like, well, worst case, you could just like send them over here. There's always lots of kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's not Cricket's vibe. That's like definitely not
to join
Cricket's.
another family for a day.
No.
She would
The
not
child
be
is
feeling that.
not interested in that.
Oh my God. There's a real emergency happening. There's like, I hope everything's okay.
Should I look? I'll look on that horrible app you hate.
The app that makes up crimes.
Or knows them before.
Or knows them before. You know, that's my theory about the Citizen app, is that it's the leaked script for what is happening, and that you can read beforehand what's about to happen in your neighborhood. Anything? Can you guys hear all those sirens? And oh my
I'm
gosh.
confused. I don't know. I don't see anything.
Huh. Okay. Well, I suppose we'll know sooner or later.
An hour ago, there was something. Oh, fuck.
What?
Well, Oh, no, that was yesterday.
Oh.
Recent. I don't even understand this. What's the date?
Today
Yesterday at
is
3:30.
April 19th.
Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just,
It's not
weird.
chronological. It's what, I don't know. I'm afraid of Citizen app, so I don't like what it brings out in me or others. But there are a lot of sirens. I hope everything's okay in New York City.
I mean, it seems like it's all okay. I mean, I can't turn it off now. I don't know what's. I'm like
It's
literally, I literally cannot turn it off right now. What's happening here? It's just like a bunch of people like being like, incident reported, police 7 minutes ago. That's about right. The timing works out.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Citizen user video shows police on scene.
Okay.
Police have requested assistance for an unspecified report. Police advise that the situation is now under control.
Okay. All right. Well,
So we did it, guys. We did it. I guess that's it.
I mean, Manhattan is like, obviously it's the smallest island. And so whenever a few emergency vehicles get together and go down the street, it makes a big commotion. But also Manhattan is like understandably touchy about anything that is out of the ordinary and gets your attention. You didn't live there, but there was a time when Manhattan smelled like maple syrup and everyone was in kind of like a panic about it, about what
I
the
actually
maple
remember
syrup
that,
smell
though.
was.
I literally, not even kidding you, I think that was like 17 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Because it was close to 9/11.
Yeah. And there was also a time when people were panicking because people that raise bees, where the honey was red. And people were like, why is the honey, what is happening? And I think people thought it was like, who knows what people thought it was. But
there's a fire in a maintenance hole.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't even know what that means.
I hope
but
everyone's,
that
I think it's
sound
like a
great.
manhole, but they probably call it a maintenance hole now because not just men work in them.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ari the bees, it turns out that they were eating maraschino cherry juice instead of
That's not true.
from a maraschino cherry factory. And it was making red honey. Because they were like, fuck finding them flowers. Who gives a shit about flowers? We can just go right to this maraschino cherry factory.
Amazing.
And eat all we want and then make some red honey.
Wait, that's amazing. I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
I have a love-hate relationship with the bee.
Yeah, same. I mean, I always thought that I was allergic because I was told that when I was a child, but then found out later in life that even if you had an allergic reaction as a kid, it doesn't actually mean that you're allergic to bees when you're an adult. It means that you could be.
Right.
Well, I didn't know that literally until like 4 years ago. And this whole time I'm like, I'm allergic to bees. I'm allergic to bees. And like, I feel like I have said that it's longer than 3 years ago because I think Birdie was a baby.
Yeah.
But I like when the pediatrician told me that, I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, well, you might not be. Have you been stung by a bee as an adult? And I was like, no. She's like, no, I mean, it's definitely, sure. Like, you should be safe. And like, maybe, you know, if you have an EpiPen, like, that's good. But you don't really, you might not be, you probably aren't allergic. And I was like, oh my God, this whole time? Whole time I could have been loving bees?
Wait, did I just tell this story on the podcast about my worst bee day?
I don't think so.
About like my yellow Star Wars t-shirt?
No.
Oh my God. When I was a little kid, I got a yellow Star Wars t-shirt. And you know how you think that like yellow attracts bees?
Yeah.
I went to the farm that my cousins lived on, and they were playing in the cab of like an abandoned truck. And so I went to play with them. And then all of a sudden they yelled bees, and they jumped out of the truck, shut the doors. I was littler than them, and I was stuck inside of the cab of the truck, and I got stung by 3 bees. And I was hysterically crying because I'd never been stung by a bee before. They took me into their grandmother. She picked out the stingers. She put toothpaste on it. I was still like, I was shook. And so she said to my aunt, like, you gotta take this kid home because she's like hysterical from her bee stings, and like it's not a fun day for her. So it took me home to my home, the farm that I lived upon, and I said to my grandmother, it's because I was wearing this yellow t-shirt and bees like yellow. And she was like, bees can't even see color. They don't care if you have a yellow t-shirt on. And I was like, I don't ever want to wear this t-shirt again. I want to take it off. And she was like, no, you're not going to like dirty another shirt. Just leave the yellow shirt on. And I was like, and so later that afternoon, she was like, the mail just came. Can you go get the mail? And I was like,
You did not get stung again. You did not.
Busy. I was like, I don't want to go outside. I'm scared there's going to be bees out there. And she was like, for heaven's sakes. I was little. And like, it was, you know, a rural area. So I had to walk up the road a bit to get to the mailbox. For some reason, I took an umbrella. Like, I thought that would like somehow, like, I don't know. I took an umbrella and I walked up the road. My grandmother found me laying in the road. I had been swarmed by thousands of bees.
No!
And stung hundreds of times.
No! How did you not die?
I don't know. All I know is I remember my grandmother coming to get me out of the road and like brushing.
Hundreds of times.
I'm not even joking you.
I don't think you couldn't have been stung hundreds of times. You'd be dead.
Biz.
Or your Jamila Jamil. You know what I mean?
The owner of the farm, the main farmer guy was keeping honeybees, and it was a windy day, and I guess like a hive blew over. And
they were mad, and they saw that yellow fucking shirt, and they were like, boom.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. And so my grandmother called my mom to come home from work to take me to the hospital. Like, I don't know why ambulances were never called in these situations. I just don't.
Well, because they were expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
They're expensive.
It's true. So my mom came home from work, and my mom also believed she was allergic to bees. And she went over to tell, before taking me to the hospital, the neighbor that like something must have happened with the hives because the bees were swarming. And my mom said she had bees in her hair, and the neighbor was like, God. Don't kill them. Don't kill the bees. Like, she was like picking bees out of her hair. My mom got swarmed by bees. She did not get stung, but I got stung like all over my little body, and went to the hospital, and they were like, that's what they said was, thank God she's not allergic to bees. But I was real swollen, and I would not go out of the house during daylight hours for a really long time after that, unless it was to go bowling at nighttime. That's the only thing that could get me out of the house.
Well, that was a journey.
And I never wore the Star Wars t-shirt again.
Yeah, obviously. Your grandma's a jerk for rest in peace, for telling you that shirt didn't, the bees, I don't even know. I don't know if bees can see color, smell fear, whatever.
I don't know.
But they had it out for you.
They hated me. They hated me that day. It was a really bad day. A lot of stings. I had to get a lot of stingers picked out of me. It wasn't the best. But anyway,
Very
the upshot
traumatic. I'm
is,
really sorry.
the upshot is that I'm not really afraid of bees, but I also have like a healthy,
Because you're like, what's the worst that could happen?
Like,
Hundreds?
yeah.
Swarm me and bite me?
one bee
Sting
sting.
me?
Come on. That's hilarious to me. But I also know like that, you know, if you fuck with a bee, it will fuck with you back. So, you know, I have a healthy respect for.
I think that's what Ice-T first said. Right? That's his famous song. That's the line from his best.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
He probably knew about my bee situation. Yeah. It wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Nuts.
It wasn't great.
Whoa. Well,
That's life on a farm, man. You know, a pig will eat you. Bees will sting the fuck out of you.
no, we don't need to. It's not my choice. That's not what I want.
A
I don't
bull
want
will
that.
throw you if,
Sure.
you know, that it's just.
I mean,
I can't recommend it. I can't.
No.
I mean, here's the thing, like being a kid growing up on a farm, like that's a life that should be chosen by someone who is of sound mind and body. But I feel like as a kid, it wasn't my choice to live on that farm and it wouldn't have been my choice. And so, you know, I just think that I didn't have an aptitude for farm living, you know?
no, clearly not.
Yeah, it's not for me.
It's not for her.
So like when I see a Coachella, I'm like, that's basically like a music farm. That is not for me. I'll be indoors.
It's not a music farm. I mean, I posted a thing. I like have gone so many times to
Yes.
Coachella, including the first Coachella, obviously.
I mean, Los Angeles was deserted, I felt like this weekend.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, it was also the Easter weekend holiday, too.
True. I assumed that everyone was at Coachella, but also it was Passover. It was Ramadan.
It was Passover and Ramadan and
Easter. So
and Coachella.
The
4 top holidays. Yeah, I mean, it's weird for me. Like, it's weird to, I don't know, everything's weird. But I, like, legit went every single year minus 2013 when I was pregnant with Crix. From 2006, from 2006 until 2019, I went to every one minus 2013 because I was pregnant with Cricket. And I had to actually, the weekend that all my friends were going, I had to be in New York because I had like a money job, and also there was 2 things in New York. I had a money job, and this movie that I was in, this independent movie, was at the New York or the Tribeca Film Festival.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to like, that's a big deal. I wanted to like go and to the premiere and support it and everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't go that year, but every other fucking year, and the first one, and then I went to the Bjork one. I went to another one. Been to many a Coachelles.
Yeah.
From the time when I was like a teen.
Yeah.
Until I was definitely like, oh, I think I'm probably too old for this shit. But I've had like so many good memories of it.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. I was like looking at like Harry went on at 11:45 at night.
Yeah.
And I was like, in what world?
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
That's like the choice you make, is that you're not going to go see any other band. You're going to sleep all day.
Right.
And then at some point get up like in the evening and go to the show.
Right.
But I would like go really hardcore because I love bands. And actually, I love festivals. And here's why. Because I really like seeing live music, but I don't need an hour and a half of your music. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like
yeah.
there are very few people I would say that I like gladly would just sit for close to 2 hours listening to them play.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, truly.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I know you would listen to Prince for
14,
infinity.
16 hours straight.
Sure. Obviously. But I had a moment like I went to one of those secret Prince shows way back in the day at the Hollywood Roosevelt, and I had a moment like hour 3 where I was like, guys,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
It's too much for me now.
Yeah.
Now I've got to go.
Yeah.
It's late. I got to go.
Yeah. And he was such a late
It was an
player.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah. Yes.
But it was mine. So a lot of times with bands, like I feel like sort of stuck because I want to see them live. I love live shows.
Right.
But unless there's like great seats or they're like really doing something,
Yeah.
like a lot of bands just don't do anything. They
Yeah,
just sort
they're
of like
just-
play their songs. Like Harry, seeing Harry with Birdie was like a special thing too, because that's like a big pop concert. Like I think some of those shows are like those are like big shows.
He's also
you know
a
what I mean?
performer.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about like going to see bands I like play. Like if you're
Yeah.
going to Big Thief,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or like I don't know, or like
You're
Middle Kids
or
or
I
whatever.
Could just
It's
listen
like
to this on my stereo in the way to Target.
totally, and like, and not in no shade to any band that I love because I fucking love so much music.
Right.
But I would take like a 30 to 40 minute set over like an hour and a half any day of the week, and I mean that even like quite honestly, even with Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Like I would, because it's just too. After a certain point, I'm like, I have to pee. I want to get.
Yeah.
I need a drink of water. I need to get something to eat. Like I gotta sit down. Like there's just I have a limit.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always enjoyed the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival because I like dropping in and getting to see like, oh, I like 35 minutes of Tame Impala, and then I get to go watch, Spoon for 45 minutes,
Right.
and then I get to go watch like some, Sufjan Stevens
Right.
play. Sufjan is like probably one that I would watch a whole, like I would watch him.
Yeah, you love
for
that
2
guy.
hours
You love
straight.
that guy.
I love him.
I feel
love
like
him.
I never went to Coachella, but I went to several of the seminal, the first Lollapaloozas, both in
Same, Caissie, same.
Massachusetts and New York. I went to the one in Mansfield, Massachusetts that was legendary. I think it was the first Lollapalooza where they like set the field on fire, like fans set the field on fire, maybe during Jane's Addiction, and
Sure.
and
That tracks.
tore down the fence at the stadium, the place, wherever it was. But I don't like a festival just because of how you're stuck there all day sitting in dirt. So I've never I would if there was some type of like lawn chair, pool lounger situation, I'd be so much more there for a festival. But
Well, I mean, I have to say, like, anything is possible with money at Coachella.
Yes.
That is true.
Yeah.
They have these, like, glamping tents now.
yes, yeah.
That some of them even have little, like, plunge pools, I think.
Oh my Lord.
Mhm.
Wow.
Like, on the grounds. So
Yeah.
you can, like, go back and, like, chill.
Yeah.
I've never had that. Like,
Yeah.
that seems like a special kind of
Yeah.
privilege.
Yeah.
But as I've aged,
Yeah.
my perks at Coachella too have aged and gotten better and bigger. And I just feel like for me, also it's hard. I mean, it is hard. It's just a different thing. Like I'm very much a person who like, guys, obvi. Like I'm down in it. I like want to be a part of things. And I'm not, it's not like I'm fucking, Katy Perry or some shit,
Right.
like going to see bands.
Right.
But I do like sometimes like if it gets dark and people are drunk, they get really excited about white chicks or whatever. And then I'm like, all right, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like I got to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
So I like to have like a respite. So I oftentimes get like the artist back at access stuff.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Plus, my friend Lindsay has worked for Golden Voice since she was like she's basically like the head of the thing now.
Oh, nice.
But back, but she was like started out as an assistant.
Oh my God.
Years and years and years ago. And now is like,
I feel like we could combine, we can put this on the list of ideas of things that we need to do with our lives. But I feel like we could combine the things that are important to us in like a club for people who are like over 35. Like only no sets longer than 40 minutes, a soft floor, chairs.
Oh, apparently at the country Coachella, what is that called? Stagecoach.
Okay.
You can bring in chairs.
Oh, okay.
Like that one, they like trust, like they trust the country fans,
sure,
to bring in chairs.
Notoriously mature and responsible set of fans are allowed to bring chairs. I think anyone at a concert at any time, it could be like a symphony orchestra and someone could get out of hand in the crowd. Could happen.
I mean, agree.
But I'm glad for the Stagecoach fans that they get to bring in chairs. I just think there needs to be like a club that is not so exhausting. And like, let's take the roof off now that, COVID, so it's open air.
Sure.
Just a very...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, when you said that, I swear to God, I'm such a bitch. I'm like, I needed to look it up because you're like, I believe it was the first Lollapalooza. I was like, nope, the first Lollapalooza was in Phoenix because I went to it July 18th, 1991. That's it.
Yeah, I just mean the first Lollapalooza tour, not like the first stop on the tour.
Oh, well, I was at the first stop on the tour.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, I went to the first Lollapalooza. Who was in it? Jane's Addiction, obviously.
Yeah, it was like Nine Inch Nails, Susie and the Banshees.
Were the Beastie Boys? Did they play that year? Who knows? They played some year.
Body Count. I remember Ice-T
I remember
was there.
Ice-T, Body Count, yeah.
Phoenix, Arizona, 1991.
I remember being excited to see the Beastie Boys whatever year they played.
And
that was a big deal for me. And I liked Jane's Addiction. It was all fine.
Yeah, Butthole Surfers. And then, of course, like Jane's Addiction, because Perry Farrell started it.
Farrell started it.
He also coined the term alternative nation when talking about the festival.
Oh, there you go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Did you, we talked about it, didn't we?
What?
The Woodstock documentary.
Oh, yeah. I avoided going to that Woodstock because I knew that I was not a festival girl. But I remember everyone that I worked with went to that Woodstock festival, and the documentary revealed that, like, it was pretty horrendous. It was like human rights violations happened.
No, it was terrible.
There.
No, I told you I was like traumatized by watching it.
Yeah. That's,
deeply upsetting. Deeply upsetting.
I didn't watch that documentary, but I think we know. I mean, listen, Coachella really keeps its shit together because we know about Fire Festival and like what a nightmare that was. Coachella, I don't think like anyone ever has anything more than like minor, like, oh, the lines were long or it was very hot and there was no shade to get into the shade. So that's like a pretty good track record, right, for a festival?
It's like such a machine.
Yeah.
It's a city. They build a fucking city.
Yeah.
And they are like, they're so good at it.
Yeah.
Like to know the logistics of what you need and what you need to bring in and how to do it. My friend Brett reminded me that when we went to Bjork, I like had forgotten, I guess, that we were going.
Oh.
And I got really drunk the night before. I mean, I was like 21 maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
Yeah.
It was before I was on Dawson's Creek anyway.
All right.
And I was so fucking hungover. And he drove us out there, He's like, you got to go. We bought these fucking tickets. And I was like, I know, but and I spent the first half of the day. He like ran off and was like seeing bands. And I went into the first aid tent and like laid down in the air conditioning and like got fluids. I feel like I got fluids. I think I did.
Oh my God.
But he reminded me of that, and I totally had forgotten.
I love that
I was like,
treated the first aid tent like a hangover spa.
it was. I was so tired and so hungover, and my friend Brett made me like go to see Bjork, and I was like, why do we have to get there so early? Like those were the days like when I was a teenager in like my early 20s, and I'm sure, well, now I think you have to buy passes for the whole weekend, right? Like you can't just buy. You used to be able to buy in the beginning. Well, the first one that I went to was one day.
Yeah.
And then they did another one like the same year.
Oh my gosh.
That was a day. And then they went to 2 days. And then now it's 3 days, the festival.
Yeah.
After all the years of Coachell's. But we were like, when we were young and like broke, we would buy a ticket to one day. You would just pick like whichever day was the people that you wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
Like most. And we would drive out there for the day and then drive back to LA that night.
Wow.
So insane.
It's insane.
We drove home. We didn't have a hotel or anything. We drove home. We drove back to Los Angeles after Bjork.
My closest experience with Coachella is that one time Lincoln and I went to the flagship In-N-Out, which is in
Indio.
It's in, it's outside of LA.
Indio,
maybe. Yeah, is it?
Isn't it? It's the Bob Hope exit.
Yes.
Like near Indio.
Yes.
It's almost Indio. It's like in between the Palm Springs exit and the exit for Coachella.
Yes. And it was at the exact same time that everyone was coming back from Coachella. So just a lot of dusty people in small outfits. Very small, very tiny outfits.
I was never, even when I was like young and whatever, carefree, I was never a tiny outfitter.
Yeah.
I mean, that just wasn't my vibe. But like also it just wasn't the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't the time, wasn't the vibe. Wasn't the moment.
I feel like Coachella, I looked at only one roundup. I was like, oh, this I can get on board with Coachella fashion as long as it's not like, as long as we're past, appropriating cultures, wearing them as costumes.
Oh, that was definitely, I was there during that time. Thank God.
Yeah. That we're not doing
I never
that.
But
so I looked at like one fashion roundup and it was so, like, I think the person just took a picture of like the first 10 people that they saw and they were like, good enough, I'm leaving. But it was just like, it looked like everything was from Shein, if I'm being honest.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah. They said that what matching sets are in, wearing short dresses and
Stop it.
things that
Please
are
stop it.
see-through.
Guys, that's not a trend. That's just, honey.
And I was like, this doesn't seem like it's really anything. But I did follow with delight. Our friend Gabby Fresh was at Coachella, and I did follow her Instagram stories because her outfits were all tremendously cute. And her antics were funny.
Wait,
as well.
what happened with Revolve? Revolve Festival at Coachella compared to Fire Festival. Influencers say the invite-only Revolve Festival at Coachella was a disaster. What happened?
I don't know. I did read that, and then I felt like people were like, it wasn't invite only. It's just that the tickets are expensive, and people were like invited to buy tickets, and other people were like, I had a fine time. It was fine. So I don't know if like
what is it?
The Revolve Festival? I don't even know what it is. I thought it was like a competitor to Coachella. I don't even know.
What is Revolve?
I don't know.
It's a clothing brand.
I don't know. I'm too old for
and they do it at the Merv Griffin Estate in La Quinta. At the invite-only event featured a carnival-style swing ride sponsored by Venmo. Come on. A booth. Right. This is where I'm like, we're actually in a Judd Apatow movie right now. You know what I mean? A booth serving complimentary drinks made with Kendall Jenner's 818 tequila, free food from Erewhon, and free drinks from Celsius. free swag galore, and special performances by Post Malone, Jack Harlow, Willow Smith, BIA, and Latto.
I know those are all very popular acts. Well, page 6, we'll just cut to because page 6 will like boil it down. Revolve said it is sincerely sorry for leaving influencers in the lurch at its 2022 Coachella Festival over the weekend. The fashion brand issued a statement in response to the outcry over its star-studded event that was compared to the now famous Fire Festival disaster, during which attendees were forced to stay in FEMA tents despite paying ticket prices between $1,200 and $100,000.
Oh my God.
Revolve said, in anticipation of the high level of interest in attending Revolve Festival this year, Revolve worked closely with all appropriate city and safety authorities to ensure a safe and secure path for guests to access the 2-day invitation-only event, a representative told E! News Tuesday, adding that city regulations mandate the company have an off-site location for guest check-in and parking. The representative noted that the off-site location featured shuttle transportation as well as rideshare access, but admitted the system started to falter Saturday afternoon when their event was getting full. So I guess it's that people had to walk very far to their cars, and there wasn't.
It's basically like they're being dropped off at the Revolve Festival.
Right.
They like drop Molly or they take their drugs or whatever. You guys, could I sound more like a mom and a person who should not be at fucking Coachella? Okay. So they take their drugs or whatever. So they're not planning on drugs. So then there's shuttle service from the Revolve Festival to Coachella.
I guess so.
Who cares?
I think the problem.
Why is anyone
I
going?
think the problem is that people said that there wasn't adequate signage to tell them where they were going, and I saw a picture of like an overturned barrier or something with people walking, and I saw people decided to walk to their cars, and it was a long walk, and they said people took off their shoes because their feet were sore and walked in the dirt. So I think it's like,
oh my God, wait, this is kind of amazing. A TikTok creator called the festival a shit show, saying she waited for 5 hours for a shuttle before eventually being told to leave. I flew out there thinking I had this big opportunity for my career. Adding that she had spent thousands of dollars to get to Revolve Fest, but then couldn't get in.
oh no.
I mean, listen, here's what I'm going to say. Like when you are expecting content and then you don't get content, that is a travesty.
It is, but also I feel like this was content for her. Like that,
no shit.
You gotta, throw a Revolve Festival under the bus, mine it, and
You got to mine that content, girl.
Make lemons out of lemonade. If we could do that, we'd be all set. Anyway, I don't know. Music festivals aren't for me, and it's not an age thing, although age has certainly contributed to that. I've never been a musical festival bitch. I love an oyster festival. I love an Italian-American festival. I love a Greek festival. I love a street fair, but I don't love a music festival. It's just always been the case with me. And you love one.
No, not true.
You used to.
No, I don't. It's not even that. It's like, it was just a thing that I did. And like, it was just like one of those things that like, we do this thing.
Yeah.
I do this thing.
Okay.
And I do this thing every year.
Yeah.
And there's a group of people, we all do this thing.
Yeah. Like Christmas.
And some years I would be like, literally when I say it's a holiday.
Yeah.
It felt like a holiday.
You meant it.
I meant it. When they switched it to 2 weekends and we realized that weekend 1 was when things like the Revolve Fest happened.
Yeah.
We decided weekend 2 was our vibe, my group of friends and I. And then we would just like always go weekend 2. It was pretty chill. We would see the same people there every year. Like people we know IRL.
Yeah.
Who also would go to Coachella. And then, I looked at the lineup this year and I was like, well, it's been 2 years, obviously, since they've had one. And I was like, yeah, I guess this all makes sense. Like, I'm not target demo anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. And also just like music has changed culturally. Things have changed. Like, I'm just not, it's not for her anymore.
Yeah.
It's definitely for Bird. who was like a little weirdly salty that like we didn't want to take them to Coachella. I was like, I have no fucking interest in that. Like, you are not yet 14 years old.
Right.
Taking you to a music festival with like 60,000 people where it's like, you have sensory issues, Birdie.
Right.
It's like hot, disgusting, and dirty.
Right.
Like this is a child that as a tiny kid, like baby, was like, wash hands now? Like, like this kid does not like the feeling of dirt.
Right.
If there is like Birdie's like the modern day version of the story Princess and the Pea.
Right.
You could put, Birdie is so sensitive, you could put like a teeny tiny little rock in their something, shoe.
And they would feel it. Yeah.
They wouldn't be able to walk. They would sit down.
I get that.
So
Also,
I'm like, kid, it's not, trust me.
Yeah.
You got to go. I'm like, go when it's like you and your friends from college and you're on your own.
Yeah.
And your mom isn't like, why aren't they meeting us at the meeting spot?
Right.
What's happening?
That's what I was going to say. It's the kind of thing that you want to go to on your own, not a family field trip.
That's what I don't know. We're kind of cool parents. I'm serious.
But I think a cool parent says like, yeah, this isn't the kind of thing that I think you were cool to say no.
That's what I did. I did. I said, we don't do this together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's the cool parent move.
Or in other words, this doesn't concern you. I'm going to need you to see your way out of this conversation right now. Bye. Bye.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Well, we should get to what we are doing our best at quickly because you have to go pick up Crickles from school. So what are you doing your best at this week? Other than successfully not attending Coachella, despite...
Really? I know. I feel like I'm doing my best at continuing on my like recommitment to health and wellness and my working out and like finding the balance of like things that feel good and make me feel good and not like tipping to the other side, the self-flagellation / like punishment side, which I have been known to dip into in the past. Like for instance, so last week I had 2 big press days, for Girls 5 Eva. And the first one was like a later photo shoot, 2 photo shoot things.
Yeah.
And I like was like, oh, I'll do like the 30-minute cardio jumping around because it makes me feel good. So I did that. But then the next day, like my hair makeup started at 6 a.m. Mark wasn't, like I said, like I was alone with Cricket.
Right.
So the babysitter spent the night too so that she could like take Cricket to school because I had to like get my hair makeup done and go.
Yeah.
But I just was like, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to do, to like.
Yeah.
I just was like, I'll be too tired. I had a full 12-hour day of, oh my God, it's so bright, of talking nonstop. And I just couldn't like comprehend. Well, I knew it wasn't going to feel good.
Right.
I knew I wouldn't feel good. Even when people are like, I know I like feel like it and then I do it and then I feel so good. Like that's the kind of thing where like I actually would have had to wake up at like 4:45 because they came. They came.
You
at
know
like
what else
5.
feels good? Sleeping.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the call I made, and I feel like it was the right call. And like when I was in Charleston, I've been like trying not to eat things that make me feel bad.
Right.
Things make me feel bad sometimes when I eat them.
Right.
And I haven't been feeling great. But also when I was in Charleston, we went to Leon's Oysters and Fine Poultry, which has like the best fried chicken, and I love it. And I was like, well, I'm going to eat this.
Right.
Obviously, fried chicken, yum, from Leon's. But it's not like I'm ordering like KFC. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You're just, moderation, right? It's like,
Moderation is very hard for me.
It is hard. And I think it's hard for anyone. I think it's hard it's not hard for anyone, but I do think it is really difficult. And I think it's something that you mature into. And because the reason why I say this is because how many old people have told you moderation is the key. And I think that they just started doing moderation like 2 years before I think it's like a lifelong process to get to a point where you can like enjoy things in moderation and employ things in moderation, And so I was really proud of you when you said you didn't work out today and like you seemed very cool about it and not like feeling like you fucked up or like you wrecked a perfect streak or whatever.
No, I mean, And I had that, like, there was a part of my brain, truly, because I've, like, been posting my workout videos again, like, sort of for accountability and whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a part of me that was like, fuck, like, last week when I was doing the press, I'm like, if I don't work out today, like, then I won't have, like, 7 days in a row or whatever. And I was like, for who? For what?
Right.
Who fucking cares? Like,
I blame perfect attendance awards in elementary school. I think
I never got one.
They really fucked us up.
You never got one. Wait, I was talking to Chrissy. Shout out Chrissy. She loves the pod. But she was just saying, like, we were just talking about, like, she also had a long, dark winter that led to some habits that she's like, that's not making me feel good. Like, I feel terrible.
Right.
Like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
And so she's like sort of getting back into things as well. And we were just talking about that thing of like separating, like being feminists.
Right.
And like looking at other people's body with generosity or like, not even generosity, just like no judgment.
Yeah.
With no judgment. Like,
or like
I
even
look at other people's
appreciation and love.
Appreciation, totally.
Yeah.
I like look at other people's bodies with, at this point, no judgment. Not entirely, but most I've like retrained so much of myself to like look at I don't notice when friends have gained or lost weight. I also like other friends of mine have said this to me. It was like, it's a bad quality, but like I don't even notice when people get plastic surgery, or get like injections in there. I'm just like, I have like trained myself to sort of like see past the superficial, the physical, and yet
for yourself,
for myself, I can't. And I was said to Caissie, I was like, we never stood a chance. Like when the way that we were, the culture we were raised in, like we've worked so hard to try to wring out so many of these terrible toxic ideas, and the last place that we can like get it dripped out is ourselves, and it's just almost impossible. And I like was looking back at Katie Storino's Body Talk book and just some of the things that are great in there, like just like looking in the mirror and being like, yes, like just retraining yourself, like, yes, you look great, yes,
right,
you look hot,
right, yes, yeah,
you know, and like it's fucking hard. It's a mind fuck.
It's such a mind fuck. And and that's a thing that I've tried to like train myself in. Like, you know, we've talked a lot on the podcast about like adjusting your social media diet so that you are hearing other voices that are people that are, you know, have a different background than you. I also really curate my social media feed so that I'm seeing all types of bodies and, you know, and when
that's been incredibly helpful to me in the last several years.
Yes. But even so, even when I look at someone and it's not even generosity, it's like a gift to me. Like I look at someone who's like, you know, whatever, like a fat activist or like a body positivity or body acceptance person. And I'm like, this person is so objectively beautiful to me. You know, I look at Lizzo and she is nothing but like a gorgeous goddess to me, but I'm not generous with myself in that same way, like thinking, you know, I'm really tough on myself. And it's like, it fucks you up. We get a lot of these ideas early on. And I guess like, you know, even with like having someone in your life saying to you, like, you look great to me now. And like, you looked great to me then, but you look great to me now. Like even that, like it can help, but then also, I don't know. It's like, it's hard. It's the biggest mind fuck. It's the hardest one to let go of, I think.
For me, it has been for me too.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope, I'm acutely aware of like things that I do or say around my kids.
Yeah.
And specifically, like, that's also part, I didn't make a deal about like, I'm going to eat fried chicken tonight. Like,
right. I'm being bad.
But not even I'm being bad. Like,
right.
I didn't make, it was just like, this is my order.
Right.
Like, I want this.
Right.
Like I try to not do that thing.
Right.
As well. And and my kids seemingly have like a very sort of non-existent relationship with like bodies and whatever. That being said, like Birdie is naturally very lithe.
Yeah.
And like, so I don't know if part of their like disconnection from like food being a thing and
right.
weight being a thing is because of their own just natural body type.
Right.
Or if they were to like gain weight or whatever, their body changes, if they will have that thing, or if like it is a good indicator that there is kind of like a cultural shift happening for younger generations. I mean, then you see like, oh, social media is causing like preteens to have eating disorders and blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know. It's hard.
It's hard I guess that it's like even much more than like a chicken and egg conversation, because I think preteens have probably always been predisposed to eating disorders. And we know that even like thin girls have been taught to hate their bodies and to feel like their bodies should be different or better. I do wonder if like, well, it's not a contest, right? It's not like an Olympics of like who has it worse or whatever. We can only know like our own experience. But I do know that like people say all the time, people admit all the time, like we all hate our bodies. We've all been taught to hate our bodies, but life, it can be easier when you're smaller because you don't have to worry if you can like fit in a plane seat or wear, the sample size clothes somewhere, or, people tend to, I think, comment with concern a little more when you're heavier than when you're thinner, even though that there's not necessarily any correlation between, health issues with very thin people versus very, very large people. But it's the hardest thing to, even though we logically know like where we should be and mentally like where we should be, it's the hardest thing to let go. So I'm just proud of you for trying to like keep at it. And
I am. And I'm trying, because I'm also like, I do go the other way, like so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I like spiral so fast, both ways, like both directions, which is what happened to me like sort of over the winter. Like I just was like in a real depression and like couldn't. I was like, who gives a fuck? I'm just gonna drink this. I'm gonna drink this whole bottle of rosé.
Right.
I'm gonna eat this whole bowl of fucking stuff that's gonna make me feel terrible.
And that's punishing
tomorrow.
yourself in a way too.
Oh my god.
Which you don't
100%.
You don't think about it because you think it's like a treat and like you're just letting go and just giving yourself what you want. But like we know that like all candy is bad, all
I feel so much better. I mean, like
not all candy is bad. I mean, like
right.
Eating only candy is bad. Nobody feels good when they do that.
I do feel like just in these last few weeks of not eating, I mean, the only sugar I'm really eating, it was like a beautiful day last week when I picked Cricket up from school. She always enjoys a SpongeBob pop from
yes.
Ice Cream Man.
Yes.
But he had soft serve. And so I like had a soft serve, which I was like, I mean, who cares? Like I didn't,
Right.
again,
Yeah,
I'm
well-
trying to not make a thing out of it, but I'm just saying in terms of sugar. But that was like, I've been just having like fruit and I don't know. I'm just trying to like not put hard and fast rules on myself. And at the same time, like I'm trying to get back in touch with like my body and what my body wants
Right.
and what it's like
Right.
asking for.
Well, that goes back to like what we were saying at the beginning, moderation. There's a big difference between having a soft serve ice cream cone when you're out with your kid or like sitting down with a half gallon of ice cream, eating the whole thing, because that's like, those are different purposes that you're trying to accomplish.
100%.
You know, and having a glass of wine is different
Yes.
than saying, I'm going to drink this entire bottle of wine.
Can't wait to drink this entire bottle of wine tonight.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. And
Yeah.
there are different purposes for.
Oh, I had like, we went out for Paula Pell's birthday, sweet Paula Pell. And I was, with my girls and Sarah Bareilles and everything. And I had like I had a martini and just the one. And I was like, oh my God, I don't think I've ever just had one drink. But it was kind of like nice. It was nice, Okay, what are you doing your best at? Because then I have to go get Cricks.
Then you got to get Cricks. I am doing my best at, I think, just like asking. I do this thing sometimes, and I think probably all people can relate. I do this thing where I expect people to read my mind and to know what I'm thinking. And then like, it's almost like becomes a test. And then I get pissed off when they don't pass the test because they don't even know me at all.
They don't even know you.
And like, I am just like, I think I'm just getting over that. Again, I think like maturity, and I'm just getting over that. And I'm like, how the fuck are they supposed to know? So I'm just getting better at like, just specifying what it is that I need, So like, for example, Lincoln is staying out of the house for a few days. He's working, he's house sitting for someone. And obviously I'm nervous, even though we have like precautions in place with, he has like seizure detection watch and, and so the helicopter mom in me is nervous about that. But also like the passive aggressive, like I'm like, old me would have been like, he should know to like, to check in with me. And like when he doesn't, I'm going to be really steamed and then I'm going to like let him have it.
Right.
And I'm like, why the fuck am I like, he's doing I don't know what he's doing. We're apart. That's like the whole point of it and why it's probably exciting for him, a kid who's.
And he doesn't know that you need him to check in.
Right. So like last night, I just, I hadn't heard from him in a while and I hadn't gotten like a seizure alert or anything, but I was like, just texted him and said, hey, I know you're probably busy. Can you just give me a thumbs up and let me know you're okay? And he was like, yes, thumbs up. And then that started a whole conversation. It didn't need to, but like he was just doing his thing and he like fucking forgot. And like, thank God, I'm glad he's in a place where he can like forget for 5 minutes that he needs to be in constant. He's like a grown man. He's about to turn 20 years old, but he's never lived out of the house because of like all of this whole world. And, and so, but because of like particular issues that are happening with him, I just felt like I had to be honest. Like, listen, I know you're an adult and I know logically you're fine, but for me to be fine, I just need to get a thumbs up from you on my phone. And he was like, yes, of course. And like, and even if you ask from like, that could have very easily like ticked him off and he could have been like, oh God, like, but that would be on him. You know what I mean? Like that would be on him if he was mad about it for whatever reason. Like I wasn't asking for a lot. And I was like, I realize now I don't have to worry about like what someone's reaction. Like I'm allowed to say like to someone in my family, like I need to hear from you. Even if it's just like a thumbs up that you're okay.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I want to say this because I recently also have come to this in the last little bit of time. Everyone has a choice. They could say no. Right. They can say, go fuck yourself.
Right.
But if you don't ask the people in your life for things that you need from them or you feel as though you need from them, then when they don't show up in that way, if they don't provide those things, that's not on them.
Right.
That's on you. But if you make very clear in like a non-emotion way,
Yeah.
this is a need of mine that I'm noticing. And I would just really appreciate it if whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the person will be like, either like, oh, weird, I had no idea. Or, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or, well, I don't know if I can do that for you every time. I don't know.
Right.
I just don't know.
Right.
And like, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's just like, it's, you know, and I think that, well, I think that it's proven to me that like, especially with my family, like, they love me and they want to put my mind at ease. And it's literally nothing to be like, oh, thumbs up. You know, I'm not asking, what are you doing right now? I'm not asking things that aren't my business. I'm not asking, you know, I'm not asking anything. I just want to know that you're like conscious and okay. And, you know, and they're happy to give that to me. So that's lucky. And I think like, you know, it might be hard with your family, but I think like, I don't know. I think you can make a case for, you know, if that's something that you feel like you need, I think you can make a case for asking for it. And hopefully they'll see like that's not a lot to ask from someone who loves you, you know?
No.
Yeah. And now I just have to
But
work
even
on
if it's
doing it out in the rest of the world.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Like, even if it's like even if it's other things, like, I guess my point is that if it's a need of yours, you don't need to be you shouldn't be concerned about whether or not it's too much to ask of someone else.
Right.
If you identify it as something that you need, then it's under your umbrella of like being able to verbalize it and ask for it. It's like on you.
Right.
And the other party involved will decide whether or not if it's too much to ask or not. And then you decide if that's acceptable.
Right. Right. And then
guys, this is just about relationships. We're just talking about relationships here.
And then
this is what is this listed under this fucking podcast? Because I have no idea what this podcast is. But
that's a good question.
It feels like it should be like under something else. It's not, because it's not comedy. I mean, sure, we have some laughs, guys.
Right.
But it's more like
it's under society and culture.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's fine. Okay, I gotta go get Cricket. I love you.
We love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you. Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.